We are still getting set up here at the Fusion Realtors Open. This is game number 1. Who do we have in front of us here? I recognize we have Hess and Riggles.
We got Hess, Riggs. I'm trying to remember that gentleman's in the red shirt name. I think he's one of the Fusion guys, actually.
Yeah, it's Zach.
Yep. Very nice guy.
He's actually the sponsor of the tournament here.
Very nice man. He's actually throwing a D2Z, I found out. Going a little old school today.
Little danger zone.
Little danger zone. And it appears the old school is not working all that bad.
So here we are. It's game number 1. Mike Flanagan alongside with Matt McNiel this morning. And trying to get some of our technical things taken care of here in center. We are at the Fusion Realtors Open, presented by Brunswick, Budweiser, Rydell, Chevrolet, Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Cedar Valley Sports Commission, and Waterloo Implement, and of course the Fusion Realtors. There's over $12,000 added in this tournament, and it brought out over 180 bowlers, in which we're watching A Squad right now.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I can't really remember all that many tournaments that get 180 entries for, you know, a weekend event anymore. So I think, you know, if you live within at least, you know, 5 to 7 hours of this event, you should be out here bowling, because stuff like this is really rare nowadays. So everybody needs to really come out and support all the guys who are working so hard to give us a place to play, and I just think it's great, especially with Zach at Fusion Realtors. That's just some great stuff he's doing. So anyways, well, today, now Mike, I guess we have a 39-foot pattern, so a little shorter pattern. We're on one of the, I believe this is one of the first generations of Pro-Am bowling. So this is, you know, when they first came out with Pro-Am bowling, this was one of the first generations of it. And if memory serves me right, the earlier generations were made very hard on purpose. I think Brunswick believed that they could make a harder surface, and mechanics would have to use less oil, and be less oil in the pin setters, and save money, easier to clean, etc., less cleaner. So I believe one of the characteristics we're going to see is the carry down is going to be a little quicker. The back ends are going to start to play a little tighter, which I think might make them a little nicer, but it's just depending on where everybody's playing. So we shall see. Zach just had a nice 257 there with his danger zone. But we shall see, because there's a lot of guys starting in, and I really think you got to go more up and at them here on the shorter stuff. You always want to keep that break point furthest away from the hole. But it seems like a lot of guys are starting in. I'm seeing guys in at 5th, 6th there already. So we shall see. We shall see. As we see Regs up here, he's on 2-0 pace. If he can double, that's a 2-1. He's playing a little straighter yet. Nice shot.
Who had 257 over there?
That would be Zach.
That was Zach?
That was Zach with the D2Z.
Oh, wow.
Tom Hess just had 203 with a pair of opens. That's not bad. I'm looking across at the scores. 2-0 is actually a not so bad game right now. We'll see what Riggs does here. Pretty good. Just a little rappy 10 there. So that'll put him at 202 to start. That's not horrible. A lot of bowling left. You know, Mike, I think the scoring pace is going to be very interesting. It's going to depend on your crosses, and it's going to depend on how the field plays them. And I'm already seeing a lot of guys, you know, with $70s, $60s out there, they're starting too far in. And it's just, this is one of those patterns. You need to do a little less to it and throw it a little harder and a little straighter. And We'll see.
So we're sitting here, we're looking at lanes 33 through 36 right here in front of us today. And I've also got another set of cameras set up over here in the west wing, so to speak. And if you notice there, that is not a lane with no pins next to lane 32. That is the center aisle that they actually made with lane surface.
Yes.
Which is pretty funny, actually.
Yeah,
So
nice.
You get a look there. It's a good look at lanes 27 through 32 as well. And we will try to bring you as much coverage as we can. This morning, just to let you know, we are going to be setting up all of our on-screen things for you as far as your standings all day and your uploaded information. So we're trying to get all of that to kind of talk to each other. So commentary the first couple of games with Matt and I will probably be a little limited here as we continue to get the action set up and rolling along to bring you the best coverage we can for the entire weekend. I've actually this weekend already I bought some Beats by Dre, some new headphones.
I like it.
But I can't really hear anything. You sound okay over there? Everything.
I'm actually a little loud. Could you maybe turn me down a skosh?
Yeah, this is your control right here, so you can adjust accordingly.
All right, there we are, right there. That's
yeah, because I sound like I'm underwater right now.
Maybe there's not enough bass.
Yeah.
You know, and Snoop Dogg isn't here, and Suge Knight and the whole Death Row crew.
Yeah, I love Suge Knight.
You know, I was watching a episode of the guys who bid on the storage lockers, Storage Wars.
Yeah.
And a guy, Barry, what's his name, actually found a whole collection of Suge Knight's clothes, including the famous red outfit that he would wear.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that'd be actually kind of cool to have.
You should see if you can't get yourself a red outfit to bowl in that's similar to that.
That'd kind of like be like an Ernie Schlegel thing, I feel. Ernie was always known for his colorful outfits, especially the one I think that comes to mind that's the most famous is the 1981 or 82. And if anyone's out there who knows this, you're going to have to correct me. But it'd be the 81 or the 82 PBA National. And that was when he was wearing the white with the red-blue sequence. And I believe Mike J has a Ernie Schlegel shirt.
He does. It's got Guppy Troop and all kinds of people on there. Hey, Matt, this pair 35 and 6, it was 2-0 for Wriggles, 250 for Zach.
203 for Hess.
And 181 for the other gentleman.
For the other mystery man, yes.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult. We don't even have a printout of everybody that's bowling, so we're working on that.
And these these are old Brunswick AS90 scoring systems here that we have here. So it's the old tube TVs. So really, unless you're like within 2 to 3 pairs, it's very hard to see scores here.
Yeah.
So we just kind of got to go by the flashing turkey symbols and then hope to catch the number inside the flashing turkey. And then, that's kind of how we're going to have to check on the pairs that are a little further away from us, obviously.
Yeah, what a great tournament. They've put so much time and effort into this thing. Joe Engelkiss and his team worked very hard to present this event. And there is over $12,000 added today. And I just want to run over those sponsors again. Of course, the Fusion Realtors. Zach is bowling in a tournament, opened up with 257. He's the owner of the company. He's the one that brings that sponsorship here. But also the Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau kicks in $10,000 for this event. The players that come to bowl in this event, they see $3,000 up top, but this is one of the best paying tournaments top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the last cash spot gets about $240 back, which is double the entry fee. The entry fee is $120 today. Is that correct, Matt?
That would be correct, I believe.
Okay, 120.
So Joe owes me $50 because I think I accidentally wrote my check for 170. I'm just. I'll hit Joe up for $50.
Well, maybe anybody that's been a past champion of the tournament should have to pay $50 more.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that's a whole tank of gas these days.
Maybe. It might be a full tank of gas. What are you driving? A Pinto?
No, I got a BMW.
Okay.
I try to be economical.
We're told here in the chat, we love our chat members here, that the Rapid City bowlers are on 35 and 36 right now. Thanks, Bowling Mom, for the help there. This guy on lane 33 throws the ball real nice.
Yeah, he does. I've not seen him before. Obviously, Cassie Luthold on 36 there. She's accomplished.
She won our St. Louis WBA Open.
Yeah, she can throw. And she's always, she's always out there competing with the boys and the gentlemen. So that's always a great thing to see. And
our other sponsors here, Matt, this event is Brunswick, along with DV8, great brands there. Of course, Budweiser, the king of beers.
That's great.
The local Rydell Chevrolet dealership also helps bring this tournament to you, along with the Cedar Valley Sports Commission and Waterloo Implement. You are watching live coverage of the 2012 Fusion Realtors Open. Mike Flanagan here alongside with last year's champion, Matt McNiel, USBC Superstar. And it's just me this weekend from St. Louis. Want to give a shout out to B Squared, Brian Burkhart. He is expecting a boy on Tuesday and had a nice little dinner with his wife last night and is checking in from home, and we wish him nothing but a great delivery of his first boy. Sam, his daughter, is had a 1-year-old birthday not too long ago. We want to thank Brian for all the help and all the training to get me out here and be able to bring this tournament to you. And my friend Doug Lakey back home normally sits in the booth, had to work this weekend, so I made the trek up alone. And I just want to appreciate all of the bowlers in the tournament. They're going to help me broadcast this thing, including Matt early this morning. I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure, Mike. It's I'm sure I've told you this plenty of times, but it's what you guys, you and the whole Inside Bowling crew are doing for our sport is just phenomenal. In any way I can help out, I'm always more than happy. So it's a pleasure.
There's a blower 710 on lane 33 on a real nice ball.
Yeah,
by Josh Hepp.
Yep, Josh Hepp. And here's the thing. I want to clarify this for folks. Me and Riggs were talking about this. It seems like, and I don't know if this is just the way modern bowling is because of where our sport is taken. It's changing. I'm not going to say it's taken a direction for the bad. I'm not going to say it's taken a direction for good. I'm just going to say it's changing. And these patterns like these, you really got to be right around 5'10", and it seems like the whole field's starting at third, fourth arrow.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing them starting around third or fourth
and
arrow.
It's just face. I mean, you're seeing everybody go through the face, or you're seeing washout splits and everything like that. And then, maybe they throw one 100% and it, shreds the rack, and that's all fun and good to look at. But I'm kind of a, plain Jane old schooler, and I just like to knock pins down.
We're in a 50-lane bowling center today, Matt. Here's a look down the concourse just to show how many bowlers are out there competing today.
And we still got another squad, folks at home. Yeah, this place is full. It's awesome. I never thought I'd see. If you asked me 2-3 years ago if I'd see stuff like this happening, I just would shake my head. But this is.
Here's a look at Shannon Buchan. Just finished second at the 11thframe.com Open, and Matt, you were able to take home that victory last time we had a live broadcast.
I was. And Shannon's a great competitor. This is actually the house that Buchan built.
Oh, it is?
His parents used to own this place. And if anybody out here can correct me at any time, feel free to do so. But Shannon's parents, supposedly, this is what I've heard, used to own this place, and he just dominated this place for years and years and years. And this is where he made the White XS famous. And obviously,
I believe that was called the Bone.
The XS Bone, yes. Now, here's another funny sidebar story, Mike. I was talking to Mo Pinnell, who designed that ball, and it was originally supposed to be purple, and AMF changed it to white. And Mo stands by the claim that had they made it in purple, it would have been the best balls ever. That was after a few CC and waters, though. But that's what he's saying. So, funny little sidebar note.
Bring in for a little split screen coverage here. I have a chance to capture both pairs.
Now, this gentleman up here on the right side of your screen here, he's got the glove on his right hand. He had a pretty good game first game. I do not know his name, but he throws it pretty good. All right, he's just coming up here on lane 34.
Here in the chat, Max says, Buchan's folks never owned it, but he has a ton of time in that house. When Shannon was on tour, Rudy Revs called the Bone XS something that we can't say on the air. We'll just call it the dumb drop.
That is funny. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the info. I don't know where I got his parents owned it.
Also got a text message from Funky Cold Antonio Medina joining us from Louisville, Kentucky. He says that Buchan also won his first PBA title, the regional, here in this house. Thank you for that. We have the best fans, most knowledgeable fans in bowling. Thank you so much. Want to thank Todder for checking in, Matt Todd from back home, letting me know that the chat's looking good, and John Brocklin, old school, who finished third at the 11th Frame Open.
Father John.
He wanted to chime in and say hello to you, Matt, this morning.
Hello, good morning, Father.
We are set up here behind lanes 33 and 34, and right behind us is the front doors, and the sunlight is just gleaming in at our screens. So I kind of like to be a little more low-key, and I like to kind of sit in the dark and have all this light shining in. It's a little overwhelming to me this morning. Also here, Dubuque Area Bowling and Mac also says that Matt Smith from Altoona, Iowa, PBA Regional Champ and multiple-time Greater Iowa Bowling Association Champ, is on lane 34.
I can definitely see that. That would make sense. You know what? I'm going to take a ponder at just how this boils out here. I think we're going to see the tweeners do very well today. The in-between guys, the guys who can still turn it up a little bit, create a little angle, but they can use speed and roll. And I think those are guys who are going to do well. Unless the pattern takes a drastic change, it's already jumped in a good 7 boards from where they started. So we shall see. But I'm guessing we're going to see a few people lofting the cap here pretty soon. I'm seeing guys setting it down on 5 already. And that's 5 on my side.
Getting some little updates here on things that are going on here in the bowling center. We have a projector set up down by lanes 1 and 2. So once we start getting our stats and everything coming in, we'll have the projector on down there. And
beautiful.
Brad, I believe his name is the center manager here. Starts with a B. I'm terrible with names sometimes.
Brad Flanagan. No relation.
Is his last name really Flanagan?
It really is.
Oh,
no relation.
I had no idea. Flanagan. Okay, well, Brad Flanagan.
He looks like a tall ginger, though. So I mean, you guys could be related.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, he just came down to inform me that lane 6 is giving him troubles. So there's a really good chance that my projector is going to be moved and not used.
Ah, that is disappointing to hear. I've always been a fan of
here we go. It's Brad Fangman.
Fangman.
Not
Where
Flanagan.
did I get Flanagan from?
Me. I'm sure it was me.
I'm always thinking about you, Mike. And thank you, thank you guys for the corrections, so I don't make a total clown of myself.
We have
up here.
the absolute. I promise you this. With us having this chat room, and I believe we have the most knowledgeable people that come into our chats.
Yes.
And I'm going to pride ourselves a little bit in being able to be humble and encourage being corrected, because we want to deliver the correct information, and that is much appreciated. So thank you guys. I truly mean that.
Oh, certainly.
Brad Fangman.
Fangman. I think I just glanced at it and saw the F and the
you
end.
Just immediately said it's got to be Flanagan.
It's got to be, and I saw the end and MAN, and I'm like, it needs to be Flanagan. All right, let's see Shannon up here on the left. Oh, can we see Shannon? No.
Yeah, I can get Shannon up for you.
Oh, he was working on a double.
We'll bring him up.
Heavy.
Just cue me a little bit.
All right. I'll give you the cue.
We have 52 viewers this morning already, and it is just after 10 a.m. Central Time here in Iowa. They are in game number 2 of a 6-game. Is it 6-game block or 8?
It's 8 games.
8-game block.
So I believe we're going to see lofting the cap here. I guarantee we'll have 2 or 3 people by game 4 lofting the cap. That's my prediction.
And here's Cassandra Luthold.
Uh-oh. A little FaceTime. See, they've already wrecked the pattern's already been wrecked. I mean, the guys who are going straight have already.
It's game 2, Matt.
Yes. No, it's because everybody started so cotton picking left that the pattern's been destroyed. They pushed all the oil down to the break point where you should be playing straight, and so now the straight guys are not doing as well, and then vice versa. The really hooking guys aren't doing well, so the in-betweeners, which that was my prediction today, the in-betweeners are going to be the guys who kill it. They can be a little softer and a little firmer, but they can still navigate the lanes.
Also, another shout out here. I'm getting text like crazy now. I want to send a shout out to my girlfriend Kim Richter back home.
The beautiful Kim Richter.
The beautiful Kim Richter. Well, this is going to work out well with you saying that. She says that everything's looking good back home, and that she likes Matt as a co-host.
Oh, I like that.
The beautiful Kim Richter, and I like Matt as a co-host. Sounds like a love connection waiting to happen. When I get dumped for Matt McNiel, everybody out there, we will put together a contest on how to date me, I guess. To the 12 people that show up to do so that are all over 50 years old. There's something about the older ladies that just get fascinated by all this technological equipment.
The cougars.
Yeah, and they're just, well, it's a little beyond that. It's more like
I was trying to pay you a compliment.
The elephants. What is it beyond a cougar? What if you go to cougar and then they progress above cougar status? What's the next step?
Pack mule.
All right, I'll Google search that sometime next week.
All right, so we're being asked for early prediction on cut numbers. I'll after 2 squads, because this is just going to be the first one. I believe after 2 squads, I'm going to guess, and this is a bit, I'm going to be vague here because it's only game 2, but I'll guess anywhere from 30 to 80 over for a cut. I know that's a big 50-pin margin, and I know Mike just rolled his eyes at me.
What's your number?
30 to 80 over.
Oh, that's too wide of a number.
Well, it's a game and a half in, Mike.
But you're that's cheating. All right, I'll tell you the number right now.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
So
hold on, let me clear out the wax in my ears.
He's going to have about 186 entries, so that's going to be 62 bowlers are going to make it. I will go. What was it last year?
I honestly don't remember.
Well, when you're 250,000 over, you don't remember. 205 is 40 over, so I'll go 48 over. Book it. 48's the number. It's been announced right now. 48 is going to be your cut score today. If you can get to 48, you're golden.
All right, I'll tell you what, Mike. I believe it's going to be a tick lower. So if it's lower than 48, buy me a drink later. And if it's over, and if it's, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little buffer. If it's like 48 to 60, I'll buy you one. I'll buy you ice cold Budweiser, and we can play some 25-cent pull tabs here at Cadillac.
Do they have 10-cent skee ball here too?
I wish they did.
Well, it doesn't look like 1 and 2's in play yet, so it looks like the projector's going to be okay. There's a look at Buchan.
That's not.
This is the head pin right.
That's not a good look.
Makes my 48 look pretty low, as I also watched someone miss the 5 pin right next to him. This is my second visit to Iowa, and I feel bad that I don't know all the players. But at the same time, if you wear a name shirt, it really helps me out a lot.
It does.
Very helpful. We will have our ticker today for you, and we will have the standings appear below on your screens once we have the scores updated after game 1.
And
So
Shannon
Matt,
just missed the head pin twice.
here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you a little on-the-site training, because I got to
Okay.
go down to the tournament office and start getting them ready for that stuff.
All right, sounds good.
So this is your controller.
Yep.
If you want to click screens,
Yep.
you go camera 2,
Okay.
brings you over there. Camera 4 brings you right back where we were.
Okay.
You click that one, you get the split screen.
Oh, very nice. I can handle that.
Can you handle that?
I certainly can.
And then I'll be right back. I'm going to leave everybody with Matt McNiel alone for a moment. And I'm going to make sure we can start getting your standings brought to you down below at the bottom of the screen. This is the Fusion Realtors Open. Mike Flanagan leaving the booth for a few minutes. Matt McNeil's going to hang out with you and monitor the chat room as well.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mike, for leaving me at the helm. And I'm going to switch spots here. All right. All right, so we're wrapping up game 2. Looks like everybody's anywhere in the 6th to 8th frame. And we're just, I'm looking at the chat room, we got Joe and Gelkins. I hope I'm saying that right. On the left. Trying to spot Joe here. I think he's on 31-32, if that's right. So let's try to get 31-32. There we can see it in the left side. Let's see what other camera angles we have here. There we go. That should give us a better view. And oh, he's crossing with Shannon. Perfect. So then he's on 31-32. All right, so we'll pull up our tournament manager, runner, all-around great guy, Joe. Engelkiss. Thank you very much. It's mildly deceiving because the way it's spelled, but I will go by Engelkiss. Thank you very much for the correction. All right, so I'm gonna poll everybody in the chat room right now. Start a little a banter here. If you were bowling on what you're seeing right now, 39-foot pattern, where would you guys be starting? and what type of equipment would you be using out there? Because I think, I mean, just watching by ball reactions, everybody's playing them like wrong, just wrong. I've seen a couple guys doing all right. The tweeners are doing okay, but there's no push in the middle, and that's where they're playing. So, guys, give me your feedback on that, please. Or you can tell me I'm an idiot for saying that, whichever you like. And a lot of low scores on this cross. Looks like it's weakened out. All right. That's going to get a smiley face thumbs up from me. Let me enter that in here. To Mac. Mac is, or no, that's Bolin 1. Bolin 1, sorry. Weakened out. I like it. I would be with, Mac says I'd be with rigs between 10 to 12 to 5-ish, smooth and shiny. There you go. That gets a wink face for, oh, look at all these smart guys. Why aren't these guys bowling the tournament? All these guys are smart. I hope I have that when I get there later. I don't know, depending on how deep these guys started at like 3rd, 4th arrow today. I just could not believe it. All right, look at all the smart people out here. You guys need to come out and slap these guys upside the head, because guys were starting 3rd, 4th, even 5th arrow. And just everybody's got to use straw and soft, straw and drillings, tear the cover off the ball, wheel it, and then wonder why the pattern turns to crap, and they got to loft the gutter cap. And then they'll watch me playing up like 5 because they forced me that far left, and then, you know, just get angry. Well, the left-handers always play up 5. Well, I'd love to play up, you know. I'd love to be like around 15, play to 10. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Okay, let's see here, Bolin 1. How many straight guys are on the 2nd shift? And that's a good question. I'd have to look at the list and see how many guys I know that are straighter folks. But I think more of the straighter guys are on this squad, perhaps. I've seen a lot of the older gentlemen, more gray hairs out there, more raisins. So on 31-32, we just had $1.50, $1.80, a 2-0, and Shannon's finishing up $1.80 there. So that's $1.84 for Shannon. Now, I believe this is Joe. Joe's working on 240. How about that? Yep. I believe that's Joe.
Joe Engelkiss over there on lanes 31 and 32.
Yeah.
So look at Joe on lane 31 right now. Oh, he walled him up for himself. He left the 2-4.
Yep.
Tournament director bowling his own tournament, walling him up for himself. He's got 2:34 left. Pretty good game for him.
That's a great game for Joe. And Joe is one of those guys, and I've always said this, Mike, I know we've discussed this before. If you run a tournament, you should not bowl it. However, if you're Joe Engelkiss,
it's okay.
It is okay, because he is such a great guy, and he's so dedicated to bowling. And my new name for Joe Engelkiss is Honest Joe, because the guy,
it's kind of like Shoeless Joe.
Instead of Shoeless Joe, it's Honest Joe. Ask him if he has the Turbo X out yet. He just might be throwing that right now. I'm going to take a look when he crosses in front of us. All right, so just finishing up in front of us on 33-34, we got a 220. Look at this, a 230. Boy, that's a big number out there. That'll win some brackets. and a potential 240. So 31-32 shaping up not too bad. As you see the guys playing in, they're right around that second tracer down lane, right around 10 board. And it looks like they've pushed the push down there. And they got a little wiggle room. All right, so that gentleman on 34 just finished up. 222, I believe. Josh Hepp struggling, however, this game. He's got 124 in the eighth. Spare up. And
we're just shuffling the deck right now, so
I like it.
We looks like I got everything working okay on the uploading of the videos and things. So, but now we're getting a lot of extra help here. I am almost at a point now where I think I should probably just leave the booth for the rest of the weekend with the amount of talent we have in here and the amount of expertise that has now joined me in the booth. Right now, we obviously Mike Flanagan here with InsideBowling.com, along with Matt McNiel, last year's champion of this event. And Matt still hasn't figured out how to bowl the USBC tournament, but we're going to give him some pointers by the end of the weekend. And now joining us is two-time back-to-back champion of the Boot Hill tournament and just recently won a regional tournament last weekend. Rob Gotell joins us. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Mike.
Was that your first regional you ever bowled, or?
Yes.
So Rob Gotchall bowls his first regional ever and wins the freaking thing.
Yeah, it was quite the experience. I mean, I bowled a few national stops. I bowled the Masters the last 5 years. You know, it's just a lot of them aren't close enough to us, and there's a lot of other good amateur stuff to bowl. So, you know, bowled my first regional and was able to come out on top.
Well, as it should really be no surprise. You know, you've been throwing it great. It seems like every time I see you, you're throwing it better, and I'll take it. The new equipment is definitely helping out as well.
Yeah, the switches worked really good. It was pretty smooth transition. I mean, it was tough to leave after being with one company for 10 years. You know, a lot of personal relationships were made and stuff, but you know, there's a business involved in this game too, and you have to do what's right for you and your game, and you know, you're not too shabby yourself either, Matt. You know, that I was able to watch your team event this year at the USBCs, and I can honestly say it's one of the 5 greatest sets I've ever witnessed bowling. I mean, you bowled great.
Well, thank you very much, Rob. I really appreciate that. It's tonight I'll definitely have to spend some time catching up with you on the dice table as well.
Yes, we had a good little run last night. Nothing big, nothing exciting, but you know, it wasn't painful either.
Here in the chat checking in, Mr. Westner says Rob wins everything he bowls in. And Davey300 says he was the chalk in his first regional and won.
Davey did. He posted on Jeff Regal's feed on Facebook that I was a 1-2 favorite. And I told him that was some high expectations, and that if Nebraska actually lost last week, he might have to adjust his odds, and we did, but I was still fortunate enough to win. It was a painful Saturday night and Sunday morning, but I was able to focus on bowling and get over football.
And they're wanting to know in the chat the scores. Lanes 33 and 4, we saw a 239, a 222, a 162, and a 237. And over on 35 and 6, it was 198, 157, 215, and 203.
Actually, pretty good scores. I was walking up and down the concourse here for the first couple games, and everybody's kind of all over the place, but they seem to be taming down, and people are able to put up some decent scores. But there's been some highs and some lows so far.
Yeah, it's I was commenting on it. I've commented quite a bit on it. How deep everybody's starting to start. I mean, especially with so much friction in the middle of the lane, starting the ball there just doesn't seem like a good idea. But it looks like they've carried down enough of the head oil to create a little mid-lane push tone those back ends down. So I think we're going to see the scores start to go up here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, from the practice session yesterday, they were pretty blended from the get-go. But watching them practice this morning, and just in that 10 minutes, the friction was at least twice as much today. I don't know if they double stripped or not, but I'm assuming they did, because it looked that way. The hook was definitely more hook than yesterday, and it was really hard to, I mean, you just got to be so soft with it at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly agree. And I think the tweener guys are going to do pretty good. Obviously, guys who make a lot of good shots are going to do very good. But I think if you can be in that in-between mode today, where you can still roll it, be soft-handed with it, but still be able to create some angles, I think you're going to do very well and pick up all your spares.
Oh, definitely. A lot of the people I've seen have a little early success or using a little bit of surface, a little bit of high-end balls, trying to just kind of even out the lane rather than everything being so whippy. You have to let your ball control it rather than try to control the lane.
Yeah, that's certainly right.
Okay, everybody at home, if you do a screen refresh, we've got some great things to look at here. First of all, we have our standings up after game number 1, and it is the tournament sponsor, Zach Bajorner, at plus 57. We saw it right here in front of us, 257. Ricky Beck at plus 48 sits second. Leon Brewer plus 46. Ted Steikoff at plus 45. And rounding out your top 5 is John Freeman at 43 over. Looks like this particular squad, we have 92 bowlers, and there are 36 of them are plus. And that is plus 2. Nobody was even. Nobody shot 200 even. We've got 3 bowlers at plus 2 and 1 at -1. Just to give you a little update, and you'll be able to see that on the bottom of your screen on the standings tab all day long.
Thank you, Mike. Good update there.
And you'll have to refresh your screen to be able to see that. And then also added bonus coverage from this morning. If you go down below, you'll see there's a picture uploaded, and there is the famous Rob Gotchall along with Zach Bajorner and a couple of other onlookers. And that's a look at the snack bar right behind us here.
Famous. I don't know if I'd go with famous. Matt McNeil's a little more famous than I am.
Oh, hush.
Oh, I don't know about that. Matt's famous because he does it on the big dance floor the last couple of years. Last 3 years, really. But Rob, as far as somebody that gets out, it's kind of like this, okay? Matt McNiel is like Lady Gaga, okay? He gets out there, and he doesn't like tour all the small towns and things like that. He just does it on a national stage. Rob, you're like a punk rock band. You're going to go into any town. You're going to play in front of 8 people. You're going to play in front of 2 people. You're going to play in front of a sold-out crowd. It doesn't matter. You're going to get what you're going to get. Matt's a little more, he picks his spots.
Yeah, I think Matt has a job too. I mean, I'm self-employed, so I'm able to make those drives, and I bowl in a 6-lane center in Iowa every year. It's one of the greatest tournaments I bowl every year. I look forward to it, and it's a nice little 6-lane center, Ida Grove, Iowa.
I like it. Those are the fun tournaments, though. I bowl me and Scott Pohl go to a no-tap tournament at an undisclosed location in Wisconsin, and it is a blast. So a little 6-laner. We always make a good little haul, and it's just a blast. I love bowling those kind of tournaments.
Oh yeah, and the whole town gets around those little tournaments. That's what's so great about it. They'll go to every business in town and just ask for $100, and next thing you know, you got a 6-lane center that's having a tournament that pays $2,500 to win, and you're only paying $60-$70 to get in.
Well, yeah, and what's also great about that stuff is it always seems like you're getting, you get you win here, and then you get like a free meal at Jim's restaurant down the road.
Yep.
And then Sally's Hotel puts you up next time you come back. And and all that good stuff. So,
well, it's an event for those towns. It's an event, and that's what makes bowling special. You know, I mean, we don't necessarily get to go to the big cities like the golfers and, you know, the big venues and stuff like that, but you get to go to these nice towns where bowling's big. And I mean, even Waterloo here, they have a lot of lane beds for the size of the town, and it's big. I mean, what are we going to be at, 188 bowlers or something like that by the time the weekend's over, and it's unbelievable right now.
And I was actually, just to go off of that, they actually put a big article in the paper yesterday about the tournament coming to town, and and highlighted a few bowlers and who to look out for and those kind of things. So, I mean, that's just as a bowler, I love that, especially when we get more of the community and people outside of bowling to embrace us and welcome us in. So
absolutely.
Always makes you feel a little better.
Yeah, I bowled the New Mexico Open, 3-4 weeks ago when you won the tournament in Dubuque, and the day before the tournament started, there was it was an article, 75% of the front page of the sports page was dedicated to the tournament, and every day on the front page of the paper at the top it had a little update, and then on the front page of the sports page that there was an update on the tournament. And it's unbelievable that how they get exposure in some of these towns about the game of bowling, and that's what we need to move forward.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, and it's it's obviously not PGA glamour, but you got to start somewhere, and it's just great. I love any good press or any more fans that we can get to get turned on to the sport again is awesome. So let me pick your brain here, Rob. What do you think for? I know it's early, but what do we think for a possible cut?
Possible cut for 8. I'm thinking, 50 over on the high end. It's going to kind of depend on how they transition and push down the lane, because it's possible you may run out of lane in the middle, and I don't think out right now is really good. I mean, you can play there, but you better throw it really good every shot. And I would say even on the low end. It's a big range, but I'm gonna guess between 0 and 50 for 60 ish, right in there. That'd be my guess.
All right, I like it.
You? What do you think?
I was thinking 30 to 80. Yeah. I think 80's. I really think scoring's going to go up. This is game 3 here, and I'm already seeing some bigger strings. I think scoring's going to go up, and then I think it's going to taper 6.5, 7, 8, because like you said about losing the middles, I think that's going to happen. I mean, this surface is very hard, and it carries down very quick. And you're going to lose, with all the high-performance balls out here with surface that guys been using to tame them, I really think you're going to lose that middle part of the lane. And when you lose that, carry's going to go down and splits are going to go up, and spare shooting is going to become harder. So I think they might tame down a little bit, but, you never know. You might see guys running them over the last 2 games too. I agree.
I think the back of the lane is going to get easier because it's obviously going to blend itself out. It's going to be a matter of what happens up front. And in the practice session yesterday, you kind of had people all over the place, and you weren't able. There was a couple pairs where they started to hook early, but now that you're going to get a good majority playing the lanes somewhat similar, we'll definitely see how fast the front of the lane goes away, and that'll determine how big the scores can be at the end.
Yeah, no, it's spot on.
But you're right. We're starting to see a few more 3 and 4 baggers. We had a few big games the first game, but that's expected. It's that way at every tournament. But you saw a lot more double 9s, strike 6.
All right, so whoever I Split Boards is, obviously was at the same voodoo lounge that I was at and was watching me dance with a few of the local residents here. By the way, I was under the influence of some alcoholic beverage. Just so that is clear. And that is the Rob Gotell in the booth, one and only.
I guess I thought that was Pharaoh for a second. You know, Pharaoh makes all his Facebook posts in capital letters, and I
also drove. Oh, that would be. I think that's Brett Cunningham there.
Ah, is Brett bowling this weekend?
He is. I'm surprised he's up because they came home quite late. They woke me up when they came home, and
yeah, you have quite a few people at your place this weekend where you're staying. You're staying with a buddy, right?
Yeah, Nate Johnson and his whole crew, his family, of course. Only 5 a.m. Not bad, he said.
I remember those days.
I was good and went to bed at about 12:15. So. Yeah, it was weird. It was like I was, what are those? Oh, the hostels in Europe. That's what I felt like I was staying in. It's just people sleeping everywhere, bodies everywhere.
Yeah, because it's not just you bowlers. I mean, his whole family lives there too.
His whole family there. There's quite it's a large family too. So.
Did you get a couch, or do you have to take some floor?
No, I actually Nate Johnson was nice, and I took his bed, and so I had a whole room to myself, and I slept very well.
Wow, you are a big deal, man.
When you get your own room at somebody's house with about 12 other people in it, that's when you've made it.
I guess.
All right, so I gotta ask you, because have you thrown the Lucid yet?
I have not. It came this week, but I didn't have any time to drill it.
Okay.
But I know Regals did. He was throwing it last night in the Pro-Am, and I mean, obviously that was on the house pattern, but I mean, it looked like it shaped pretty good.
All right, so out in front of us, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 33-34, and correct me if I'm wrong, is one of the better pairs at Cadillac Lanes.
I'm going to agree with you. It seems to be a lot more controlled than some of the other pairs. I mean, there's a lot of friction in the middle. Like even over on 31 and 32, there seems to be a lot more friction in the middle than on 33 and 34.
So so I'm just going to put that in the mental notebook, and hopefully I get to stop on this pair for a game.
Yeah, and they are using 2-lane machines this week. They worked for about 5-6 hours last night trying to calibrate the second machine to get them as close as possible. I know they were getting frustrated at one point, but they ended up doing a pretty good job. And I mean, from what I see across the house, they're playing pretty similar. So props to the lane maintenance staff here for putting in that hard work and getting it done. Yeah,
certainly. They and Brad is just a great GM here. He does an awesome job. So kudos to him.
Do you have to bowl the Pro-Am tonight?
I think Joe said I might have to. Are you bowling?
No, I'm not as big a deal as you. And you are the defending champion, so it's only right you have to bowl the Pro-Am.
I suppose. Well, hopefully, I remember last year I didn't bowl the Pro-Am because my hand was raw meat afterwards. And I will give a quick shout out to Cecil at the 900 Global booth, who I worked with him on my grip a little bit, and he got me set up with a new span and some new pitches, just a small change here and there. and it made a big impact on my grip. So my hand doesn't turn into a Mark Roth thumb anymore.
Cunningham says we missed the 3.5-hour crap session.
Well, that must have been from 2 to 5:30 then.
I was gonna say, because I was there from 9 to 12:30 for 3.5 hours, and it wasn't bad, but.
All right, so let's get back to discussing some scoring. 31-32 or 33-34. Obviously, one of the nicer pairs here, and we actually got a guy, letter A. We'll find out who that is. He's on 270 pace.
It's a gentleman in the Storm shirt sitting right down
I
here.
believe he's throwing a nano.
I believe you're correct.
I just got back in the booth. You guys are cracking me up. You're like Doug and I, the gentleman in the Storm shirt. I believe that's the nano.
I do.
It is the nano, man.
You know what I really feel like with these microphones here, if we could get a shot of these style microphones, I feel like it was, remember the Alec Baldwin skit on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that, you know, you're just, somebody says something and you're like, yeah, oh yeah, they're.
I actually kind of feel like Howard Stern. I mean, this is kind of exciting for me.
It is. It's like, you know, the Howard Stern show. I'm sure you used to watch it on E! Entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that not like the best?
That was
great.
awesome.
And it was on late at night.
Oh, yeah. You come home at 1 in the morning, you're like, I'm going to go to bed. Next thing you know, you watch Howard Stern for 2 hours, and it's 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, you know, and before that show was on, I don't know about you guys, but I would watch like Eliminate and Love Connection.
Oh, yes.
And Third Wheel or something? Or,
yep.
Or Fifth Wheel, or I don't remember what it was.
What was the dating show with Robert Lodge? And they'd pop up the little captions to what the date was saying or thinking.
Oh, man, that's right. What was that?
Was it Blind Date?
Might have been.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
and like, you know, the guy would always try to get to, you know, engage in relations with the woman at the end of the evening, and she'd always slam the door, and the little caption would be like, in your dreams, or, you know, or something like that. That was a pretty good show.
I believe someone on the chat, I think the gentleman in the Storm shirt might be Pete
Schwetty. I think that was in reference to the Schwetty Balls Alec Baldwin skit.
Oh, yes. Pete Schwetty.
Pete Schwetty.
Okay, guys, so we have standings up after game number 2. Boy, this tournament staff is trained, and they are on it. Joe Engelkiss and his team are doing a fantastic job. And Joe Engelkiss sits second now, plus 68. Can you believe that?
Nice.
Mike Peters bowls some of our events. He's plus 66. Lineberry's plus 59. But our tournament leader has been Truig at plus 81. Zach Bajorner shot 201 the second game, so he's plus 58. Ricky Beck at plus 51. And now we have 34 people are even or plus. Notable name in 33rd place, Jason Guest from Brunswick. Donated a couple of balls to this event. Thank you, Jason.
I think Jason went big the second game because he was struggling really bad the first game. I was down watching him on the high end. I'm not sure if he made the flip right away or not.
And I'm going to give a quick shout out to my good friend and brand new father, Eric Vermillier, who's watching out there. Eric, congratulations. I'm really happy for you and Amanda, and look forward to seeing PJ grow up and turn into a amazing athlete. Obviously, he's got the good genes from the gene pool going.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you guys.
Hopefully PJ gets Eric's golf game.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say that. And I think Eric agrees with that because he's going to caddy them.
Yes.
Although Eric would probably be the one breaking the clubs and not PJ if he gets Amanda's like mental game or something.
Exactly. Congrats to them. I mean, great people. Both of them are absolutely great. You know, I was able to spend a few years with them in Lincoln when Amanda went to school there, and then Eric came down, you know, for her last couple years.
Yeah, you're on it.
Just two great people, and it's very nice to see that they're happy and they've started their family.
Yeah, it's awesome. I remember growing up when I was 13, 14 years old, bowling traveling league with Eric and Amanda, and I've known them for starting to date myself, and I think it's 13 or 14 years. So it's been quite a long time, and gotten to bowl a lot and travel with both of them. So it's been great.
Date yourself. You're just a puppy still.
Rob, is this your broadcasting debut, or have you been on before in other live streaming venues?
This is my debut. I've done a couple little things back in the day, helping out with some high school bowling stuff in Nebraska. But no, this is my first nationwide, live stream.
Well, we'll give you a little Bruce Springsteen.
Glory days. Yes.
There you go, Rob Gotchall. It's his debut. He's going to look back at this and say those were the glory days.
You know, I might have to agree with him because, I mean, this is, the funnest part, I think, not only about just going to all these tournaments, it is seeing all your friends and getting to catch up and go out and throw the bones and have a few drinks and laugh. And so, I mean, these are definitely always going to be looked back as fond times.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the bowling community and we have our nice, decent-sized fraternity of bowlers in the competitive bowling area, and you have your core group of really close friends. But whether it's here or Vegas, up in Minnesota for a tournament, it's just great to see everybody and be able to catch up, see how they're doing. And I mean, it's become a little easier these days with social media. You can kind of keep track of everybody a little better. But I mean, it's great to spend some time with people and watch them bowl when you're not bowling. I absolutely enjoy being in the bowling center when I'm not competing, just watching, learning, supporting the game.
Last night, Rob did a lot of watching and learning when I was setting up this booth.
Yeah, I felt bad when we left because I kind of distracted you for about an hour.
No, that's okay. Those are conversations that need to take place.
Yeah.
I got it all under control. I will tell you that so far I'm feeling really good about what I've been able to get accomplished here by myself this weekend. Not too much technical help from Brian, except for like development server stuff, which I'd never be able to figure out on my own anyway. He's even letting us know certain cameras need to be de-interlaced and all kinds of different things while he's watching at home, trying to make this thing better. So behind the scenes here, that's what we're working on.
B Squared, the master of the technical arts, I'll call it. All right, so up here on 30, can we pull up 33, 34? All right, so this guy in the storm shirt. This guy here.
It's not Andrew Luce, is it?
I don't think so. No, it's not. Or maybe anybody out there, this guy in the storm shirt on 34. Please give us a name for this gentleman. But anyway, so he goes front four, spare, triple, 5-4, strike fill for 232. And that will be high game. That will be the only 200 game on our so-called great pair. So I'm still standing by my statement that Andrew Luce is on track staff. Okay, we just found that out.
That's right.
So
good call. Good call.
great game, though. That's a good game 3 because I'm not seeing a lot of big game 3s. There's one down on 39. Top guy on 39, Robbie.
Yeah, is that guy is a six-bagger?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It just looks like
he can throw the next one in the 10th. He'll be in the 250s, right? He's at 240 something right now. And I believe he bowled 220 or 230 on 33 and 34 last game.
He's crushing them. It looks like he's got a shined up nano in his hands.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's shined. It might be just glazed over from games.
Oh, that might be true.
And second tournament, Joe Engelkist, who's in second place right now, can double in the 10th for 223 this game.
So that'd be a good little pile. I'm going to address something in the chat room here real quick. Cunningham is asking where Nate is, and I have no clue because I didn't see him when I got up this morning. So I don't know where him or Kelly ended up. Hopefully they're safe.
I'm looking here at the names, and there's a gentleman in 19th place named Matt McLaughlin.
I've heard that name.
And you were talking about Saturday Night Live. Did you ever watch the McLaughlin group?
Oh, yeah, I remember that with
Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey. Wasn't Mike
Myers?
Mike Myers. Wasn't he a guy on the...
I know Phil Hartman went on there all the time, and he was like, topic number 1. And then, like, Pat Buchanan. Pat Buchanan. Patty, patty, buke, buke. Wrong. The correct answer was Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes.
And then it was just so high-paced, too. I mean, he wouldn't give anybody any time to answer the questions.
Yeah, John Goodman was on that one, too.
That was good.
It was Pat Buchanan, Eleanor Cliff. Yeah, it was one of my all-time favorites.
All
it's
right.
on the Dana Carvey DVD.
You've given me things to YouTube and watch now.
That's hard to find out there. You got to find it through some other site.
Yeah, you can't go through YouTube. I think you got to Google it and then try to find it on a site there. All right, so what did he finish up there, 250 or 240?
255.
That's a monster.
For Engelkiss?
No, for...
the gentleman on 39 and 40.
Okay.
He just had 220 or 230 the last game on 33 and 34 here.
Yeah. We're just going to name everybody the gentleman.
All right, I like it.
Because nobody's wearing name shirts.
I mean, everybody hates wearing the name shirts, but for something like this, it is a much-needed... It's a much-needed thing. It needs to happen.
Or at least stop by and say, hey, when I come through, I'm Nate Burleson. I play for the Detroit Lions, and I also like to, once in a while, bowl tournaments.
We should ask them for their score sheets or something.
Yeah. And then maybe just like a quick quip about them or something, you know, say something interesting about yourself. All right, Shannon is working on...
You can have 250 too. He needs one more. He can have 256, Shannon Buchan.
That's a big score out here. That could be high game pot, 256. I wonder what the high game pots are paying.
Well, they're only $1 a game in the Greater Iowa, but you have 92 bowlers, and I mean, I'd be under the assumption that good 70 to 80 of them are going to pay it, and I think they pay about 3 spots. So I mean, probably $50 for $1 investment. You can't go wrong.
That's pretty darn good. There's Shannon. That'll put him in the 250s. Big fist pump there.
Oh yeah, he's getting excited. Joe Engelkist's gonna probably go. I think he's 7-10 here in the 11th. He's gonna go 8-1 here on his fill for 212.
Honest Joe.
So that's a pretty good start.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get a lot of new faces now because I think this skip now is they skip 4 pair.
Oh my. That's a big skip.
Then get skip 1, skip 2, skip 4, something like that.
Gents, I'm going to step out and grab a beverage. Does anybody want anything while I'm out?
I'm good right now.
Good, Mike?
No, I'm good. I'm about third through my blue Gatorade.
All right, perfect.
So, Rob, you and I have never really gotten to know each other all that well. Rob Gotell joins me here in the booth. Mike Flanagan here from InsideBowling.com. Matt McNiel went to go grab a soda. We are in game number, they're about to start game number 4. They're wrapping up game number 3. But you went to Nebraska, and we have a mutual friend who just won the Peterson, Mr. Tim Barron.
Yes, Timmy B.
Yeah, did you guys bowl together at the same time?
I actually never went to school. I never bowled for the university. I just grew up around the program.
Oh, okay.
And I grew up in Lincoln, and Timmy and I, we bowled a lot of tournaments together. We bowled league together for the 4 years he was there, and we'd travel up to Minnesota, North Dakota, bowled a lot of team doubles, singles tournaments together. Yeah, good for him. Big win. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I put together, I don't know if you saw the actual screenshot that I had, but I actually made a picture of him that said, whoops.
I did.
I won the Peterson.
Yeah. He had to sweat it out a couple times, too.
Yeah, he did.
I know Mike Fagan needed a double in the 10th to take the lead, and he went like strike ring 10, and then somebody else made a run at him, too. I know Adam Barta made a big run at him. And
yeah, I believe Barta missed a 5-pin or 2-pin or something like that in like the 8th frame.
Yeah. But at the Peterson, I mean, a 5-pin isn't, it's not a guarantee every time.
Also want to let our friends at home know that if you do experience any offline issues, just refresh your screen. For some reason, live stream's been doing that a little bit. I had it happen here. I've got another computer running, so I'm kind of watching it like you guys are at home. And I uploaded a video of our St. Louis WBA Open champion Cassandra Luthold, and I have a nice video on there I took with the iPad of her throwing a strike towards the outside part of the leg. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot if I play it on this computer that you guys are going to hear that audio, so that was completely my fault. Sorry about that, Rob.
No, it's okay.
But there's some of the audio from it. It's down below, and she throws a good shot down there.
Oh, Cassie's a great player.
Here you go. You can get a look at it here, Rob. I promise it won't be loud.
All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's been playing him a little straighter than everybody so far this morning. I mean, obviously being real soft at the bottom, having slower ball speed. I mean, she's able to get it to recover from further right than most people, but she's become a really strong player, not just in the women's events, but she's been hanging tough with the men a lot.
She has.
This past year.
She's got veins of steel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Nothing gets her going. I mean, she's nothing but business.
Great mindset, great attitude, doesn't go get highs and lows with her emotions, just very even keel, and I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, a lot of people don't have that.
Yes, Cassandra Luthold did go to Nebraska. She was the anchor bowler for them when she was there as well.
Yep.
She followed in the footsteps of Shannon Plahowski.
That is correct. I believe she won a national title she might actually won 2, her freshman and sophomore year. I know she anchored the team to the national title the year after Shannon left.
There's a great video of her bowling down below, and I'll get some more on-site videos too throughout the day, and also pictures. So, Rob, I just assumed that you went to the University of Nebraska.
No, I just grew up around the program. I mean, Bill Straub, Paul Klumpa, they're great friends of mine. It wasn't the right fit for me at the time, and I needed to work out of high school and support myself and stuff. So,
well, we share that in common.
Yeah.
You and I went to Central Missouri for a semester. I went to Lindenwood for a couple of semesters, but I always had to work full time, and it was almost like, looking back, it was a waste of time and effort and money to be able to do that, because the only real semester I felt like a college student was when I was at Central, when I didn't have to work. But I was broke.
Yep.
And I didn't like that. I like to have a little coin in my pocket.
Oh, yeah. Well, and especially in this, if you want to surround yourself in this game, because in the Midwest, there's like Iowa has a great youth scholarship program for the greater Iowa youth tournaments. But in some other areas, the youth bowling's not as big. I mean, like in Nebraska, high school bowling's big, but we never had the huge scholarship tournaments. And being around, a lot of the college players. I mean, this is when O'Keefe was there, Machuga, all that stuff. I mean, these guys were bowling for money. And if you wanted to compete, you had to have money in your pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when pot games were big. You bowled double shift a league, and then everybody stayed and bowled pot games till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So yeah, you had to work. We got a couple of other Nebraska alums over here on 31 and 32 right now. Michael Snell, he just graduated a couple years ago, and then his girlfriend, most likely soon to be fiance, Jasmine
Lagerman.
She's from the Minnesota area, isn't she?
She is. I bowled juniors with her for a brief point in time.
Did you ever fire at her, Matt?
I did not.
No?
No, she was always taken. She's a good-looking girl, so she was always taken.
She's really sweet, really nice, very polite.
Yep.
Is this her in the...
She's really blossomed, though. I mean,
she's in the pink.
Yeah,
in the pink?
She's in the bright pink. She's grown out her hair, and...
When you said blossom, I was thinking like the bowling game, and now you're going into physical attributes.
Yeah.
Well, that too. She's really turned into a fine young woman, physically and bowling wise.
And you'll see. I mean, you'll watch her throw this next shot here, and as soon as you see her throw it, you can go, "Yep, she went to Nebraska." I mean, she's got, all the traits and the system they teach there, and very sound game.
The Straub system.
Yep.
And actually,
solid 8.
A quick quip about Bill Straub. He was the guy that Mark Roth picked up the 7-10 against on TV. So if anybody did not know that, now you know.
That's weird, wild stuff. I did not know that.
Weird, wild stuff. Robbie, how many left-handers have you seen? I've seen like 3.
I haven't seen one yet.
There's one in front of us on 33-34, and I saw 2 others, and that is it.
It's funny, I bowled the regional in Council Bluffs last weekend, and in the unders, our division we had 33 bowlers. There was no lefties, and I think the senior regional had like 35 bowlers, and I only saw 1, maybe 2.
We're a dying breed,
I guess.
Well, I mean, it's just that's why you got to be. I got to be really picky at least. I mean, because it's either you have something or you have nothing.
You don't have help.
No, and it's just you can't go out and bowl tournaments. I mean, if you're doing this for a business, you just can't go out and
Well, and that's why I said earlier, that I was able to watch your set at the USBCs, and it's one of the 5 greatest sets I've ever seen, because that was probably the fairest pattern, left to right, front to back, that we've ever seen at a USBC event, and you had no help. I mean, you literally were labeling shot after shot after shot, and you were rewarded for it. And that's a great thing.
Well, thank you very much. It was obviously worked out very well, and it was great.
I can't lie, I benefited from your group too over at the BTM
this
year too.
We did set them up pretty nice for you.
Yeah, if you ever want to cross behind a team in an event where they don't re-oil, it's always good to bowl behind the 10 guys from Lynn's Lakers, because they're gonna play them right. They're gonna burn the track up, and then you can pounce right behind them and just start hooking it off of it.
Are you guys bowling again at the same time this year?
Actually, I've switched groups this year, and I am going a week earlier.
You're going with Pole and those guys, right?
My new team this year is myself, Scott Pole, Adam Barta, Brian Wallachek, and Mike Rose Jr.
That's a weak group. and I hope you don't have to carry everybody, Rob.
Yeah.
What is the date you're going to go, Rob?
I want to say it's like April 20th, 21st, right in there.
Well, you got to save April 27th and 28th for the InsideBowling.com Open next year.
Well, that is why I couldn't bowl last year, is because the last 2 years I couldn't bowl the Inside Bowling Tournament because I was bowling nationals. Mm-hmm. So it is on my calendar, and I am planning to make it in St. Louis this year.
Yeah, we're going to have a big announcement within the next month about that tournament. Looks like we're going to actually have it to where the entry fee is going to go up $50, but we're partnering with a ball company that I don't want to say as at the moment, but we're going to be partnering with a ball company where you're going to get any bowling ball from their company that you would like with every entry.
That's pretty nice.
And if you are one of those staff players out there like you guys are, we're going to give staff players only the option to pay $199 to get in the tournament.
Okay.
And that ball company is going to add enough money into that prize fund to where I'm going to guarantee at least $8,000 for first, and if I can, with my due diligence, get to $10,000, we'll pay $10,000 for first.
It's going to be great.
Well, I hope in that case I'm able to make it, but just off the hand right now, it doesn't look promising with my national schedule, but we may be going early May, which would allow me to make it. So
yeah, well, I hope you can get it switched around or whatever, and hope to see you there because it's going to be a fun weekend.
You know, Mike, before I forget, I want to thank you for everything you're doing for, not just scratch bowling, but, for the game. And, I mean, we had a lengthy discussion last night. You're going to make some big announcements here in the next, 6 to 8 months. And I think it's wonderful what you're doing and how you're trying to forward, the game and the competitive game. You're not just narrow-minded and focusing on one thing. You're doing the broad spectrum, and I mean, credit to you. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, I like trickle-down effect. We got to start with the who's who, the guys like you guys, and then, of course, all your scratch bowlers and all your towns, and those are your diehards. Those are all the ones that subscribe to Extra Frame. Those are the ones that are going to sit here and watch 6 to 8 hours a day of online coverage and listen to yahoos like us. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so you start with them. Once all of them are in your army and you've got all those little troops set up all over the country, they're the people that, when they bowl league, they walk up to all the people in the bowling center. Hey, Matt, what's the best new ball to use? What's this? What's that? Mm-hmm. So if you've got all the leaders in place, it's going to have trickle-down effect when you start actually targeting the next tier, which is your 180 to 200 league bowlers, and then above and beyond, all of that. So I'm hoping one day all these little army leaders like yourselves that will run and learn to bowl clinics throughout the country, teaching new people how to bowl, getting them into entry-level leagues that are nationwide bowling leagues, so to speak, or some sort of just one place to check out all the leagues and do some great things with people, because the power of people creates the opportunity for larger events. Rob, you and I talked last night about USBC. If $2 from every USBC card, like you said, went to the PBA Tour, that'd be a lot of money. Mm-hmm. For the PBA Tour, and there's some new programs and things that we're scoping out and working on that I think that we'll be able to create some pretty big events for the average Joe Blow, along with guys like you guys, that we won't ever say Tom Hess or Pete Weber can't bowl this league or tournament just because they are who they are.
Yep. Well, and you have to get it to where we have the high school program around the country. It's gotten so big. I mean, there's so many kids participating. In a large percentage of those kids don't participate in other sports in high school. And then the college bowling is expanding. I think they added something like 20 some NAIA schools this year to the college bowling program, and now we need to give them an avenue after that. Whether they reach the professional type level, or just your competitive scratch bowler, to keeping them in leagues. We have to make sure we offer them something. And I know a few good proprietors. I mean, one of the best proprietors in the country is in my hometown, John Lucido. He's on the BPAA board, and he's on the USBC board.
I had a conversation with John over the summer about a few things. Really like that guy.
John is committed to doing what it takes to not just better his business, but better our game. I mean, there's a difference between bettering your business and bettering your game, and he's invested a lot into coaching through his pro shop guys to what classes they're going to even trying to bring in some outside help for, clinics and stuff. He's actually revamping his junior program this year he's revamping his junior program to where they're going to bowl normal with handicap for their first session. They run their junior program in 3 sessions. And after the first session, once everybody's established their averages and stuff, they're going to redivision all the youth leagues, and it will be all scratch.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They are going to promote it as scratch to where if you want to compete with a higher end player in your division, I mean, it'll be divisioned on your average, but then you will bowl. You'll want to get better because you'll want to be better with the better kids players in your division. And I think that's great. You got so many leagues now handicapping to 240.
Oh, I know.
Man, it's much easier for a guy averaging 2-0 to bowl 40 pins over his average than a guy averaging 230, 240.
Yeah.
Let's get caught up here a little bit. You're watching halfway through game number 4. This is Mike Flanagan from InsideBowling.com alongside with my 2 wonderful guest hosts this morning, Mr. Rob Gotell, who just came off his first regional tournament, and he won the thing. The folks in our chat were saying that he was the chalk of the tournament, so just goes to show what a great talent he is. And we're sitting here with the slouch, Matt McNiel, who won this tournament last year and just came off a victory at our 11thframe.com Open in Dubuque, which was a very, very difficult tournament to win, and he was able to take the honors home. Rob was talking about how he was switching to a new nationals team, and here in the chat, they want to know what's going to be the name of that team. Do they know?
Pole position?
No. We actually have a sponsor.
Okay.
It's Adam Barta's brother. Pete is sponsoring our team, and it is the National Amateur Bowling Rankings.com team. So I believe that's NABR.com.
Yep, that sounds about right. And also, they want to know what game we're in. Like we said, this is halfway through game number 4, and your standings will be refreshed at the bottom of the screen. We should see game number 3 pretty quickly here. And also a question about the IB Open. Is it going to return to the same center that it's been the first 2 years? And no, it is not. It's being moved to a synthetic surface, 52-lane bowling center, Tropicana Lanes in St. Louis, Missouri. And we're looking forward to what we're able to bring to you there.
Yeah, to Mr. Wessner in the chat, we definitely were not going to let Adam name our team.
Like Ouch Barta.
Yeah, Adam is a great guy, and I mean, he is crazy, and he has mascots now that he carries with him, and it's actually his mascots have their own Facebook page.
I can believe that.
Yeah, Ouch Barta has its own Facebook page.
Ouch Barta was interviewed on our tournament at the Mary Tubner.
Yes, at Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's classic. I watched the video on YouTube.
Here's what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
I got lost. I had a great idea, and then I got caught up in Rob talking about the great things that they're doing out there. But I was just going to say, if it ever gets to the point, and I hope I can say when it ever gets to the point where we can have a inside bowling tour.
Yeah.
If it ever happens. Where you have a tour that, a guy like Rob and a guy like myself could go out there and, for 9 months out of the year make a decent living out there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
oh God, I would.
What Mike's doing is great. I mean, last night when we talked, he had to start small. He started at 3,000 to win his first tournament, and it's harder to attract from too many miles away. But as it gets bigger, as his name's getting out there, and I mean all these live streams, it's really great. Now he's getting big, he's getting involved more in the industry, and I mean, how do you not travel to one of the tournaments? I mean, the lane conditions are fair.
Yep.
It makes sense. I'm kind of lost for words.
And I create my own too. I like creating my own patterns.
Yeah.
I like making guys with huge rev rates play right of 15.
Yep.
But I don't like to lock out the dump doctors. I like to play out by 5. You know what I mean?
I love that term.
You know, I mean, there are dump doctors. All you got to do is go get your dump doctor ball that comes in a box now with sandpaper on it, and just drill it up, and you got to look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we call those hook in a box.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there was a Saturday Night Live skit about that too, but we won't get into that. The hook in a box.
Oh, that's right. That is right.
Yeah.
And dump doctors, I use that term because Ken RG is in the chat. And Ken RG is one of my faithful league bowlers over the years, one of my favorite all-time customers that would inform me about what was going on in the bowling center in regards to the shot and what people were saying after I would leave. And the shot was dead easy. Trust me, it was in this bowling center. And I always like to put a little more oil out so you could use higher end equipment.
Yep.
And this gentleman, Ken RG, was the one that coined the phrase dump doctor. And I saw him in the chat and I used it just for you. And T Camp, Mr. Campagna, wants to know about the left side. And Tony Campagna, my first time I met Tony was at the first IB Open. And when you have a $20,000 piece of equipment that you expect to put down the pattern the same throughout the house, I never thought to walk the back ends of the lanes, every lane.
Yeah.
And evidently this lane machine twice decided to just not take oil off the lane or apply more oil down at the lefty's break point.
Not good.
And Tony was the one to let me know about it. And I just want to say that Tony handled it in the most professional way possible.
Tony's a great guy.
He made me aware of it. He did not yell at me. He did not take my head off. He just said, you got to know that this happened. And I totally have respect for that guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Forever. He could punch me at the next event.
I don't know if I'd want Tony to punch me.
I'd be out.
No.
But
I think Tony can pack a punch.
I think he can too. But you get what I'm saying. He was very nice about it, and that goes a long way with me.
Yeah, Tony's a great guy.
I'm uploading more media to the lower section of your screen, and there's a great picture down there now of Matt and Rob in the booth.
There's also one on Facebook where we switched glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have one of those too?
We do.
Yeah. I got some.
Rob's
I had to get some new glasses because Matt was kind of one-upping me with his specs. So.
Rob, are yours prescription too?
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
Officially.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like those. Those are very sharp. I think my next investment will be in a white pair.
So Matt's glasses they've always been cool.
Well, you know what they say, Matt. Once you go black, you never get back.
Whoa.
I don't know what you guys are referring to, but I'm referring to socks, and I even wear them with white shoes now.
Oh, you do?
Stability strike.
I heard that was a fashion faux pas.
I've got my Stability Strikes on today. Jay Brewer, if you're watching, I'm wearing Stability Strikes socks today.
And I'm gonna start my own company.
All right.
Called Stability Underwear, because I really think that they need stability underwear. Because how many times have you bowled in boxers?
Oh boy.
And especially jeans, depending on the type of jeans you wear, when it actually creates quite a problem while you're bowling.
Yeah. Yes,
on the male anatomy, it does.
It does. It's not easy. Slacks are much more preferred.
Indeed.
We need to come out with a bowler brief.
I like it.
If Jay's listening, he's probably working on
He
it right
probably
now.
is.
He might have just stole the idea from you.
It breathes easy.
Yeah.
It's a very easy, breathable material.
Snug fit. Just like the socks.
Yep. They could be custom.
Your feet don't move around in the shoes, so I mean.
Yep.
And Rob, you just got done winning the U.S. Open. Who would you like to thank? Oh, I would like to thank my bowler brief company. It's always a custom fit with these. And you can get a replica Rob Gotell bowler brief on my website, robgotchall.com.
Gee.
All right, so off to our left, I just saw a couple of bowling celebrities, kind of, from the St. Louis area, Mr. Mike Peters and Mr. Scott Rains. Both came and set their equipment down between 31, 32, 33, 34, so hopefully we get to take a look at them. Definitely a couple talented guys. Won team all events a while back. It was in the 2000s, though. That or they won team event. Not 100%. If anybody knows out there, feel free to chime in.
And what's this young lady's name again? I'm going to forget it.
Jasmine.
Jasmine Lagerman. However, she is struggling a bit this game. 180 if she sheets.
Yeah.
Rains and Peters are from the quads, and team winners 2006. All right, thank you. Oh yeah, they're from the Quad Cities. Why did I say St. Louis? Oh, that's because we bowled in St. Louis. We bowled.
You know what?
We bowled your left-handed, right-handed tournament in St. Louis. That's why I associated that.
Yeah, technically that one's not mine.
Oh, it's not?
It's Jerry Anderson at Redbird Lane's tournament.
But you just did the live stream, right?
Correct.
All right.
But he's got a big one that he does over Christmas. It's called the Holiday Doubles. And he's going to take up to 108 teams this year. And first place is going to pay like $7,500.
Oh.
But it's on a it's on a house shot.
Oh, that's right. They always put out the.
And it's lefty righty.
No, this one is actually you can have any combination.
Okay.
But this tournament is like the largest in the area. Like everybody comes to it. They mark it on their calendars.
Yeah,
you got to average 245 and 250 a man. It's on China, but it's a very exciting tournament, and there's a ton of bracket action. And the cream does rise to the top almost every year in that tournament, despite the lane conditions being that easy. I've tried to get him to make it just a little bit tougher, but he likes to keep it the way that he does, and he's had a very successful tournament for over 30 years. So we just kind of keep going with what he does.
Yeah.
And we grew the entries last year. So
If you got bodies in the building, you know, it's one of those things. Don't fix it if it's not broke.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And I told Scott Rains I'd go back to the left-handed, right-handed tournament again this year with him. So hopefully he'll have me.
yeah, when you come in town for that one, we'll have to make it a weekend. Well, I'll take you around the city and show you all the good sights and things that I like to go to.
I always think of National Lampoon's Vacation.
East St. Louis.
When I think of East St. Louis. Getting directions. But no,
he pulls up, he goes, "Hey, what it is, bro?"
Yeah.
And then they hear the gunshots, and he's like, "Roll them up."
What a great movie.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. I think all of us bowlers have seen the same movies. It's almost. Did you guys ever watch Mystery Science Theater 3000 with the robots that would sit there in the front row and commentate on a movie?
Oh yes.
Okay, so I could imagine if the three of us right now had a projection screen come down in front of us, okay, and you just saw the back of our heads, and we watched like Vacation.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And then people get to hear our comments.
We could make a show out of that, and then we could play, we could watch like Kingpin and Lebowski, and then throw some golf movies in there.
Yeah, Tin Cup.
Tin Cup, that's one of my faves.
Lebowski'd be tough to watch though. Be bleeping a lot of stuff out.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, we do it on live stream. We just have a little note up there. That
unadulterated.
says, yeah.
In my younger years, when we watched Big Lebowski, we used to play a drinking game to the movie.
Oh, yeah?
And every time they dropped the old F-bomb, you had to consume a drink. And, usually by the end, you're hurt.
Yeah, not too many sober folks after that one.
I got to go check and see what's going on with game number 3 upload, and see if they're having an issue down there, because we should have had game 3 up by now.
Indeed.
Because I know they're doing great work down there. So actually, as I just say that, it refreshes at the bottom of your screen.
And they got Eric Liddig helping out this weekend, who runs the GISBT program, which is the phenomenal junior program that they have down here. So Eric does a phenomenal job. So, you know, when he's in the building and has a clipboard in his hands, things will be running smoothly and on time.
Yeah, I see Miguel Lopez, bowler from Wichita State, moved up into second. 104 over.
And you got Dwayne Kiltz up there, too. Rick Beck. Trey Burdale is hanging around.
Now, Rick Beck is Ricky Beck from the senior tour, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
South Dakota area somewhere, I believe.
And Shannon Buchan and Trey Burdale of the Traber brothers.
A lot of good names at the top. There's a lot of talent in this field, I tell you.
There is.
28th place is +2, Scott Rains. 29th is Rob Amers at -5. So thus far, how are we looking on cut score through game number 3?
Well, I think everybody took a brief hiatus this game, because I'm seeing a lot of low numbers here.
I think you're starting to run into that part where the transitions happen. The oil is still, it's going to carry down the lane all day long, but I think the fronts might be starting to go. And I mean, we're only in game 4.
Yeah.
And you are watching InsideBowling.com's coverage of the 2012 Fusion Realtors Open. A lot of great sponsors went into making this event happen, over $12,000 in added money. Thank you to Brunswick, Budweiser, Rydell Chevrolet, Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Cedar Valley Sports Commission, and the Waterloo Implements. Along with Fusion Realtors, of course, our title sponsor. Mike Flanagan alongside with Rob Gotchall and Matt McNiel up here in the booth. Bowlers are getting ready to start their 5th game here. They're just wrapping up game number 4. Your stats are down below on the bottom portion of the screen underneath the standings tab. Throughout the tournament, we will also put standings up after each block, and at the top of your screen, you'll also see the ticker running across the screen, giving you up to the minute standings as we have them coming through. Those are up through game number 3. We're going to have about 186 entries for this tournament. There's going to be an A and a B squad. The 2 gentlemen sitting to my right are actually on B squad, and they'll be shooing up probably about 2:30 today. We have 92 on this squad.
Yep.
And then down below, you can see that there are videos and pictures being taken throughout the event as well for your viewing pleasure. Also, we added at this particular event, we wanted to go ahead and grab that hashtag #InsideBowling on Twitter. So if you have anything you want to say to the booth that you don't necessarily want to say in the chat or give a shout out, we sure would appreciate hashtag #InsideBowling.
And there is a look at the double eagle winner on lane 30, Matt Wegan.
That, you just said that like someone was just coming out of the bullpen. Now pitching. Number 48, Carlos Marmol. That is Matt Wagon. He has got one of the most unorthodox styles I've ever seen. But it's the same every time.
It is. I mean, that's the amazing thing about bowling. I mean, even golf. There's so many ways to get there, and as long as you get there the same way every single time, do whatever you like.
As long as you can repeat it. If you can repeat it, it works.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to put 4 people on the same team and put them in an event. And I think this would be a really good team. You ready?
All right.
Scott Devers.
Oh, God.
Matt Wagon. Mike Lickstein.
Oh, wow.
And Ron Williams.
Oh, yes, the king of the hill, Ron Williams.
Yep. Could you imagine those 4 bowling a team event together?
Oh, that would be great. Now, can we add a 5th and throw in Bob Vespi?
Sure,
All
absolutely.
Right. You could even put, Walter's not conventional. Sure. He just repeats it every time.
Right.
I mean, there's nobody better that throws it a little unorthodox, but just repeats it.
Yeah. Well, I really liked Walter, like, when he was, like, kind of in the mid-late 90s, when he was really jumping up on every shot, you know?
Yep.
I mean, that was
Crush R.
Yeah.
Nitro R.
Yep. Is that... He looks like Michael Schmidt, but it's not Michael Schmidt there on 32. That's not him. It looks like him, but it's not.
There's Traber Dale up on
There, yep. Traber Dale.
on lane 30. I call him the same thing. Isn't
Yep.
it crazy?
Yep.
That's just his name.
That's his name.
His name is really Dale Traber, to those of you at home that don't know who he is or what he does.
USBC Hall of Famer.
But
No.
what he does is he basically walks into the bowling center with a couple of bags and some rocks in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they all basically cover the same amount of boards every time he bowls. He just picks a different arrow to cover that many boards to go into the 1-3.
Yep.
And then he picks all his spares, and at the end of the day, he either grinds out a check or he wins the tournament.
That is very true.
He is solid. I mean, he is.
He's not much to. I mean, it's not much to look at. You watch it and you're like, whatever, okay, you know, boring. But he gets it done. I mean, you got to remember, this guy bowled for the PBA national title in 1994 against his brother.
Yeah.
Okay?
And, you know, I just got to say, that telecast, as a young guy who likes to see these flashy stars on TV, I really wasn't fond of this match, but I actually really enjoyed it as I began to develop. But how about that Ebonite shirt that Dave Traber had on that
my
day?
God.
Was that probably like one of the worst bowling shirts you've ever seen in your life? Do you remember it, you guys?
I vaguely remember it. I don't.
I remember it. Can we get a YouTube picture of it or pull it up? Because it was white. I remember it was white, like, and it had all these weird designs on it.
It was checkers.
That's right.
It was purple.
Like the purple and teal one?
Yes.
I think I remember which one you're talking about now.
I thought, why am I thinking it was white with the design on it?
Well, I think the shirt was white, but I think it had the purple and like teal checkers.
All right, here, Mike's pulling it up here. Yeah, it was teal. Oh my God, was that?
Oh, wow.
What's he throwing? That's a Piranha, though. It's a Columbia shirt, and it's a Piranha.
No, it's
No,
an
it's an Ebonite shirt.
It's an Ebonite shirt.
Oh, but he's throwing the Piranha?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys got to give me a little leeway because I was all
Look
of
at that
8 years
shirt.
old when this
Pull
happened.
it up. Type into YouTube, everybody. Dale Traber, David Traber, and it'll come up. It'll say the PBA 1994 national title match. Dale Traber versus Dave Traber. I mean, this is unbelievable. Actually,
Can we get a picture of it?
I might be able to get you a shot of this.
All right.
It's on my screen here, though. I don't know what I just did here.
Can you back up the camera?
Oh, there's my problem. If I put it on that camera, I'm sorry about that. I'll get you something here.
All right. Now, here's Matt Wagon. He's gone Brooklyn twice. Let's see what he does here. I just want to... I think he's going Brooklyn again.
Yep.
Nope, it didn't carry that time. Nope.
I'll get you guys hooked up here.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is pretty cool. What's going on?
All right.
Guys, I'm going to step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good.
There you go.
Wow, look at that. That
There you
is
have
an ugly, ugly shirt.
There you have it. That was the shirt. Get them today at InsideBowling.com.
We could, you know what we could do is we could start making retro shirts that the guys wore back in the day with the logos on them and everything. I mean, we'd have to obviously change the logos for copyright infringement purposes. But, you know, you could have, you know, something that looks like the Quantum logo or the Ebonite Lion logo or, you know, something like that. I mean, because I know if I wasn't contracted to wear global shirts when I bowl, I would be wearing those.
It is nice. It is extremely nice.
Now, for those of you out there, on lane 30, this gentleman is named Nevin Breed. That's not Mike Nape. This gentleman was confused for Mike Nape at last month's Inside Bowling Tournament, so I just wanted to clear that up. And then we have Dr. Kloss on lane 29.
Dr. Kloss?
Well, remember Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget?
Yeah.
So I just kind of paired the two, really. And it looks like on the lower half of the screen there, Wagon is having a chat with Trey Burdale. Maybe trying to figure out what to do.
Maybe they're talking about their contrasting styles.
They might be. Which one is uglier?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's tough. I'm not very pretty up there either with my the old 5-step shuffle thing that I have going on. So I'm not going to be talking. And there we have a Wrap 10 by Trey Burdale.
So scoring pace about the same as last year, Matt, would you say?
I would say pretty close.
You think they'd let me bowl B squad?
You know, Mike, I would have no argument if you wanted to bowl.
Yeah, there's no way I could bowl. But one of these days, I'm going to bowl one of these tournaments. I got to say, I'm bowling really bad right now, though, and I would like to. I need somebody to help me with my game. It's pretty bad.
I do give lessons.
I need one.
So I'd be more than happy to give you a lesson.
I'm a train wreck.
All right, can we pan over to 33-34 for a brief shot or two?
You got it right there.
Thank you, sir. And I'd like to watch the Mike Peters line here. See what. Did you go out for a breath of fresh air there, Robbie?
I did.
All right. All right. So we'll see Mike Peters up on the left lane, lane 33. And a nice shot from Mike. And then here is Scott Rains, so they got to cross together. And this is my partner for the right-handed, left-handed tournament. Hopefully he doesn't do that. They're just hooking.
What's Twister's Pro Shop?
Twister's Pro Shop. I've heard of that before. I've seen it on some shirts.
It's on his shirt.
Scott Woolwin's is also wearing this shirt. Suppose we might need to Google that. Scott's from Iowa, but I don't know exactly where. Might be Cedar Rapids area.
I'm guessing it's going to be close to the Quad Cities. And if anybody out there knows, always feel free to chime in.
Looks like it's from Moline. Bob Neff? No, it's not Bob Neff.
Moline. Oh, that's way south. That's like on the Missouri border, I think. Moline?
Yeah, looks like Moline.
All right. Well, there we have it.
Scores seem to be leveling off a little bit. There's a few less strings going. A lot more spare shooting.
Yep.
We were predicting that cut score earlier to be, I said 0 to 50 over, and you were thinking 30 to 80. And I mean, right now the cut score is even, little under.
And I said 48.
Mike said 48. And I think, I don't know, we'll see, because, okay, now if they go from looks like tougher to getting nice, then those score. We'll see the last couple games here jump, but I don't know. They look plenty hard right now.
Yeah, they've really leveled off the last game and a half.
Because, well, and it's so tough to control that mid lane and still have the ball continue.
You know,
all right.
One of the tough things about always bowling on B squad too is you get the guys coming in for B squad watching the end of A, and they see a lot of guys playing left.
Oh, and then they start there.
And then everybody starts and an arrow too far left, and they can either get really nice that way or they can get really nasty.
Well, I have a feeling I don't think they're going to make them any nicer if they start deeper than they did this morning.
No, I agree.
Just my feeling.
Is somebody's nickname up here Lunch Money?
That would be me.
Yeah, Lunch Money McNiel.
Lunch Money at Stansbury, and it's in Quad Cities, Highland Park, the place you whacked all the time.
That's what I figure. I was figuring it was from the Quad Cities there. And hello to Jake Stansbury. He was one of the. We had a little clique in the GISBTs called the Wheelhouse Gang, and Jake was a member along with Tom Barnwell. So anyways, that small story aside, Twister's Pro Shop is at Highland Park in Moline, Illinois.
Why don't you tell the Lunch Money story?
All right, I will.
Lunch Ladyland, hoagies and grinders, hoagies and grinders, navy beans, meatloaf sandwich, sloppy Joe. I had sloppy Joes last night at
the casino.
The Isle.
How was that?
They weren't bad for 11:30 at night.
Weren't they like $1?
$1 each.
Yeah.
I ordered 2 of those suckers.
You didn't get a slot dog?
They only had sloppy Joes and chips available.
Okay.
Where I was at.
All right.
Anyway, back to your story.
All right. So the Lunch Money story. When I was 14 years old, I bowled my first GISBT tournament, and it was actually the big weekend at Miller Time. And Saturday was at Miller Time, and then Sunday was at a place called 30 Lanes. And I'd gotten into the Saturday tournament, but the Sunday tournament filled, and I was on the waiting list. And because I didn't get the money in soon enough, and so I bowled, like a 14-year-old would on Saturday at Miller Time, and thought that place was hard. And then Sunday comes around, and so I was like, well, you know what? I had $40 in my pocket. And I said, you know what? Just let me prepay for the next event, so I'm sure I have a spot. So Linda Roseman took my money, and I realized that I had not left myself enough money to buy lunch.
Because your parents left, correct?
Yes. Yep. My mom drove down with me on Saturday, and ended up going back home. And I rode home with friends on Sunday because wasn't sure if I was going to be able to bowl on Sunday. So I didn't end up bowling, but I was like, well, I'm going to prepay for next month's event, just so I can bowl for sure. So I gave Linda the $40, realized I didn't have any money for lunch, and I went up and politely asked Linda if I could have $5 of my lunch, or of my entry fee back for lunch, and that I would pay her the $5 when I saw them next month. And I went across the street to a Hardee's and had lunch. And you could still get lunch at Hardee's for $5, which tells you that it was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And
Lunch Money McNiel.
And that is how the name came about.
That's how it happens.
That is how it happened.
A bowler walks up and doesn't think. He maxes out in brackets. He maxes out in the tournament. He does everything he needs to do. And then he's like, oh, man, I'm thirsty. Not a nickel to his name. I bet there's probably a ton of guys that haven't had enough money for gas to get home.
When I was 18, 19, bowling the World Team Challenges and stuff, there was so much side action. And I bowled on quite a few good teams. And, we'd go in Saturday morning and all in, and I would literally have like $1 in my pocket. And to me, it's one of the greatest learning experiences ever, because you got to learn to throw it for the wheat right away.
Right.
You don't bowl good, and it's not just you, it's your team too. So your teammates are there to pick you up, but there's no more pressure than having no money in your pocket when you're 18, 19 years old, that you're all in.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. A lot of people talk about, I wish there was more money to bowl for. I wish I could make a decent living. Let's define a decent living, and we'll start with you, Rob. What would you need to make over a course of 10 years, on average each year, for you to say that you bowl for a living and you make a decent living?
I mean, to do that and do nothing else, you know, where I live in Lincoln, I mean, cost of living's not very high. It's not a big city. I mean, to live well and good, I mean, 50 is probably a solid number to where you're comfortable, you know, and you're not.
And that's 50 after the hotel, the gas. That's what you actually made for throwing the bowling ball.
I mean, I would say that. So you're probably looking at more like
80
75, 80
in cashing.
In cashes. And that's the big thing with tournaments and like bowling regionals and stuff. It's really tough to drive 8, 9, 10 hours and bowl for 2,000 when you only have that one opportunity to make money. That's why, I mean, tournaments like this, to where they've limited the brackets, so you can't. The guys that can out bankroll people you can't out bankroll people. But there's the extra way to make some money. I mean, there's extra way to make a little money, to where when you're going to some of those other tournaments, that's it, you know. And if you don't win, you know, if you finish 5th, you're getting $600, and it costs you $300 to be on the road.
Yep. No, Rob brings up a great point, and I think that's why professional bowling in general is struggling, because it's not the junior program is struggling. It's not the collegiate program is struggling. There is not a significant magnet to draw people out onto the tour, and that's why you have guys like Rob and myself sitting here talking to you right now.
Well, and I mean, me and Mike touched on it last night in our conversation a little bit. It's hard. You know, a lot of people are trying to compare bowling to golf.
You can't.
I mean, there are similarities. There's differences. The problem is, it's very tough to televise bowling for 4 hours, 4 days in a row. And to attract the large sponsorship dollars, that's what you got to have. You have to have exposure, you know. And it's why it was, you know, back when in its heyday, when it was on Saturday afternoons, people that didn't bowl, they watched bowling because it was part of the wide world of sports every Saturday. It was just what the family did. Well, that culture's changed. I mean, people don't sit at home very much anymore. They DVR stuff. They, you know, and that's we got to get the non-bowlers back involved in our professional game. And I don't know the answer. You know, when me and Mike talked last night, there's a ton of different mini little problems that there's solutions to, but it can also create more problems. And it's there. It's tough. It's just really tough. And I mean, the proprietors are hurting right now too. I mean, they're losing bodies. I mean, when I grew up bowling, there's probably 100 guys in my town that bowled 3 leagues a week.
Oh yeah.
Now you might have 5, 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
Matt, what's your number? What would you have to make for you to be okay with throwing a bowling ball?
I'd be in the same. I'm right in the same boat. If I can clear 50 to 60, you know, and if say you have an amazing year out there and can clear 70, 80.
Yeah, I'm taking, you know, pretty much a 10-year average. So
yeah.
You might have a year where you make 100, but you
Sure.
might have a year where you make 25.
Yeah, if I can average it out where I'm working X amount of, you know, weekends per month, and you know, and then, you know, if you can build your brand up to where you can do, you know, demos and clinics and stuff like that, and make some supplemental income.
Mm-hmm. Peter's here with a 5-bagger. 249 he's got left. Second shot in the 10th, lane 33, just to chime in there.
Yep. Thank you for the chime.
Where's he at in the standings right now?
16th at plus 29.
He'll be loading up the U-Haul this game and making a move.
Very nice.
Throwing it real good.
Yeah, he's really blended it out.
Yeah. He's a great competitor.
So we talk about golf and bowling and how you can't compare the two. Rob, are you married, steady girlfriend? What's your situation?
I'm not married. Seeing someone, but and that's another part of it. I mean, if once you start a family, it's hard to be a competitive bowler, right?
Sure.
I mean, you got to be the breadwinner.
We might be able to buy diapers for every day changing this year, but next year might be a different story.
And I own a small little business in Lincoln, Nebraska, and in Omaha, and I have the freedom enough to travel, and it's tough. But I mean, once you settle down and you have a kid or something, there's still risk. I mean, you can be a high-end bowler, but there's still risk involved. And I mean, you can't go a month and a half where you're breaking even every trip because now you got nothing on the table.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, I mean, you're spending time away from your wife, you're spending time away from your kid, and that puts stress on a marriage too. You're just not being there. So that's a very hard life to live.
And if you take them on the road, you're doubling up your expenses.
Exactly.
I mean, you're making it even harder.
So, Rob, your girl, does she bowl? Is she a bowler?
She does.
Okay. So let's just say, for instance, you and this young lady didn't work out. All right, and you're back to the drawing board. Okay. And you meet a girl at a bar, and things are going good, and she has you over for Thanksgiving dinner this year.
Oh,
okay?
That's a big step.
First time meeting a family, right?
Big step there.
Everything goes good, okay? So you start becoming friends with her father. What are the chances? What is the percentage that father, when you're over there during the Masters, you're over there on Masters Sunday, that he's going to have that on the television and you guys are going to be kicking back a couple of cold ones watching the Masters?
The bowling Masters?
No.
Or the golf Masters?
So you're thinking Easter time?
Yeah.
Easter.
You're over there around that time of the year. Things are going well. What's the chances he's going to have the Masters on his TV? What do you think the percentage would be?
80-90%.
Okay. Now, that same girl, it's going to be the U.S. Open for bowling. What do you think the chances are he's going to have that TV on for the U.S. Open of bowling?
It's a lot less. If I'm there, it's probably...
Well, right, but I'm just saying in general, just the chance of some random girl, her dad, saying, oh, I'm going to turn on the U.S. Open without really knowing your background.
Nowadays, I'd say 10%.
Okay.
I think that's being lenient, too.
But back in the day, I would say it was easily 50-50 shot.
Right.
50-50 shot back in the day on Saturday afternoon.
Because everybody knew when it was on. It was on at the same time every single week.
Well, and Bo and
Chris,
I mean, they talked bowling, but at the same time, they made you feel part of the family.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, sometimes I tuned into golf just to listen to Gary McCord and Faraday. I mean, it's pure entertainment.
It is.
I watched the Notre Dame Navy football game solely for the fact that David Faraday was doing the sideline reporting for NBC.
Yep.
So, bowling right now is hanging on because it's supported by people that like bowling.
Yes.
It's not like something's going to happen within the sport that is going to make people that don't watch bowling, in my opinion. Like, let's just take buck hunting. When's the last time you guys have stopped your day or thought, oh my God, Sunday, it's the big buck hunting U.S. Open, buck hunting championship. I got to make sure if I'm not home, I got to DVR that. Either one of you guys?
No. It's the same with fishing, too.
So let me ask you guys, what would get you guys to want to watch buck hunting or fishing?
I'd have to be a fisherman or a buck hunter.
But is there anything that could get you to watch that?
I don't know.
Well, there's a couple different directions you can go. I mean, for the general public, I mean, sex appeal's one.
Us three right here. Why would we tune in to the U.S. Open of buck hunting Sunday. So you're saying
I mean, sex appeal is one thing.
you're going to go sex appeal.
I mean, it's definitely one thing.
So maybe it's female. There's a female competitor like Danica Patrick. That's
Or even for the women, you need, instead of this big hairy man, you know, it needs to be a guy that's more fit, or you know, just appealing. Sex appeal is so big on TV right now.
Okay, so sex appeal is something that would maybe make you tune into that. Matt, what about you? What would it take for you to tune in and see this?
Maybe if there's the possibility of, like, I think that's why like a lot of people watch NASCAR for the crashes.
Yeah.
They don't watch it for the
Turning
oh
left.
wait, he took that turn really good, you know. I mean, because you got to remember, people who watch NASCAR, you know, I don't think he's. Anyway, I'm not even going to go there. So, that being said,
Another big thing with NASCAR, and I'm not really a NASCAR fan, but their fans attach to a person.
Yes.
And we don't. We are close to that. I mean, we have. I mean, there's PDW followers.
But in NASCAR, all 43 of them are on TV.
Yep. And
every single week.
And that's the big thing, and that's where live stream and the extra frame and what you're doing is.
Yeah, look, NASCAR, top of the screen right now. There's your standings.
Yeah.
Look, it's Todd Morrison. If he can move up, he's going to make the chase.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's what we need. We need to get them to know the player, and we need that exposure. And Old School in the chat made a great comment that there's 400 channels to watch now.
Yeah.
And that's another big thing, because, I mean, I remember we were talking about the hunting. I remember when hunting was on ESPN on Saturday mornings or Sunday morning before the football coverage. Well, now you watch 5 hours of the same sports center before it, rather than you used to just watch a little of the hunting because you were waiting for College Game Day to come on or whatever. But
this topic is heating up. I've got text messages coming in. I've got things going on here in the chat. This is the 2012 Fusion Realtors Open. Rob Gotchall up in the booth along with Matt McNiel, Mike Flanagan here from Inside Bowling. We're debating what it would take for us to want to tune in to watching the U.S. Open of buck hunting. Rob has started out with sex appeal. I believe Matt was going down the avenue of crashes in NASCAR. We got off on a tangent, but I think you were going to say,
but maybe if like there's
somebody could get shot,
or somebody falls out of a deer stand, or you know, they all have to sit in shoddy deer stands made by people with poor carpentry skills.
Right.
So not only do you have to try to get into the shoddy made deer stand, but you have to stay up there and then hope you don't fall 25 feet to a broken limb.
do you guys watch Duck Dynasty?
No.
The guys that make the duck
calls?
calls?
Oh, the duck calls. They're weird folks.
They're weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, they go kill any animal, and they're funny. And I think that's the thing, like the U.S. Open of buck hunting, you got to see more kill shots. You got to see more action rather than, you know, Bill sitting in his tree stand whispering into his microphone telling us, well, I'm waiting. Yeah, I set my seed, I set my scent down there to attract the big buck. And, it's...
Well, instead of maybe during the buck hunting, maybe like for like a skills competition, they could shoot like plasma TVs with they could choose which one to shoot at, Obama or Romney, or whatever his name is. Okay, all right.
You know what? Just that brought me back to when Dick Weber was on the Letterman show.
I know it. I had this conversation with Pete a couple weeks ago.
Yes, and he was when he was bowling, they had him set up a whole bunch of different funny things, TVs, and like a whole set of china and things. And then, you know what? They also had Mike Albee on the show, and he bowled backstage and threw at some interesting objects as well.
Here we go. We'll get that up for you. There's Dick Weber. There he is on the Late Show.
Don't throw it in the gutter, Dick.
That's great.
He would throw at all kinds of things.
They had him bowl. I heard they had him bowl on an airplane.
They did. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
We'll watch him throw one more here. This is with the AMF Dick Weber Legacy Ball. Notice he's got the jacket on.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the cone right there. That's so nobody drives over and runs over him.
That's good. Nice spare.
But he goes on later.
You see all the broken glass and stuff
Dave
around
loved
there.
it.
Yeah.
Dave absolutely loved it. He just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. We'll get this loaded up here. And we'll see what else he was throwing at here. Maybe this isn't the same one with all the highlights back to back to back, but it is available out there for you to see.
All right, there's Matt Wagon on the throwing a shot in the pocket. Got Dr. Claus, Trey Burdale. All right, here we go.
Got a real good cross in front of us
Yes,
right
that's
here.
it. I'm going to get this out of here.
All right,
I'm just learning that new feature here today.
I like it.
So yeah, Dick Weber on the Late Show throwing at things. I guarantee you if we turned on Carson Daly and Jay Leno and David Letterman the week of the buck hunting U.S. Open, and they had on some of their best athletes, and they're saying, you got to tune in this week. It's really awesome what we do, yada yada, and you got to tune in for this because we're actually going to be shooting at blow-up dolls as an added thing in our competition this year.
Yeah.
And whoever can shoot the most blow-up dolls gets a bonus from like Trojan condoms or something like that.
Or they get like a
Or from
Cadillac.
KY.
A Cadillac.
Oh, sure, yeah, Cadillac. Or a Mercury Cougar.
Yeah. Now, Antonio Medina chimes in here and says that a couple of professional bowler, it's a couple, a married professional bowler couple, calls Antonio Medina the sexy Mexi. Does that count for sex appeal, Rob? Wants to know?
Well, I mean, I know Mr. Medina. He went to Nebraska, and I guess if they call him that, then it's justified. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Standings after Game 4. Miguel Lopez plus 133, Troy Fuller plus 128, Dwayne Kiltz plus 103, John Freeman plus 97, Ben Truig plus 92, Ricky Beck on the outside looking in. And now through 4 games, we now have 31 bowlers plus, and it's Dwayne Fleming at plus 3.
So they went up a little that game. Scores went up a little bit.
If you're watching Bowlers Bowl game number 6, game number 5 standings will be up once they're processed. You're looking at Matt Wagon, Eagle winner.
That's a double Eagle winner.
Yeah, he did win too.
One.
Singles in all events, right?
Yes, sir. Back-to-back 800.
Yep. You know, touching back on what we were talking about how to create exposure or you know what's going to make you tune in, you got to think about the most publicized things in bowling the last couple of years. I mean, you had Pete's reaction at the U.S. Open was so publicized by ESPN, but nobody ever touched on the fact that it's one of the greatest money shots of all time. I mean
Oh, yeah.
he threw one of the greatest strikes to win an unprecedented U.S. Open. Then you go to Blanchard's mishap on the show. I mean, a couple million YouTube hits or whatever it's at. You know, they constantly played it over and over on ESPN. And then you can go a few years back to the trick shot thing when Oscu threw it over the chair.
That was an unbelievable shot.
I mean, it's that, but that's the exposure that's what ESPN wants to see. They don't want to see Lost in the Blanchard thing was Belmo shot 300 on TV, but they didn't even reference that on SportsCenter.
No,
you know,
that's not going to sell.
But at the same time, we can't just come up with an hour-and-a-half long show to our bowling purists that have people throwing things over chairs.
I completely agree.
So you have to have like a mix.
And I think that's where the personal touch with the bowlers comes into play. We have to make the public know our professionals.
But then when these guys on the tour, like Tom Clark and these guys, they come up with these ideas to try to draw things like we just came up with for us to want to watch buck hunting. And then when they take one of those risks, or the Women's U.S. Open this year with an outdoor setting, what do all of us family members of bowling do when they do those things?
Yeah, a lot of people shunned them.
We destroy any gain from that.
Look at this on 34, guys. Look at how deep Kloss is already. This is game 5?
Game 6.
Oh, my God.
I mean, he's the deepest person in the building right now.
And it's a strike. We'll get a shot of that next time he's up on that lane. That's a good catch, man.
Wow.
So, you know, I actually...
I'm seeing my laydown point get toasted.
Yeah, but they're re-oiling. You're good.
All right.
But actually, I see that I like what the tour does. I like their motives, and I like how they come up with what they do, and they have a great thought process. My problem is that they don't get enough of their supporters behind the concept. And you shouldn't have to explain why you're doing something every time. You shouldn't have to go through all that rigmarole. No other sport really does. No. But when you're in a rebuilding stage, you got to have the power of the people behind you.
Yeah, agree 100%. I mean, you referenced the Women's U.S. Open. I wasn't there personally, but I mean, I know a lot of people that were. And there was nothing but compliments about the look, the venue, the atmosphere. I mean, many people said it's the greatest atmosphere theater for the sport of bowling that there's ever been. You know, I mean, but there's been some good arena shows. I mean, Erie used to put on some big arena shows, but I mean, it was cool to see all the people in the top of the parking garage, you know, watching bowling. But we just had the issue with the wind and the dust getting on the lane. You know,
I mean, I remember even when they started doing arena finals on Saturday afternoon TV, and that was cool. I mean, that was a lot of fun to watch. You know, and then obviously Bob Learn did what he did in '96. Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest moments ever.
Oh, hands down. I mean, I just actually watched that show this week. I was up late, couldn't sleep, and Bob's a friend of mine, and fortunate enough to work for him at Turbo. And just a great guy, and so it's always fun to just cue that one up.
Did you guys see the couple of videos that I found?
Yes.
Rummaging through a drawer.
Yes, I did. I like those. I like the off-air commentary as well.
With Jay Randolph.
With the cough button.
Yeah.
That was good.
It doesn't work. Oh, you got to bet your horses today. They go at each other. It's like...
Earl the Pearl and
Jay Randolph's like, I tried showing you that 6 times, but it's okay. Oh, well, you had to get your bets in. You had to get your bets in. The horses are running today, aren't they? That was so funny. It made me feel very uncomfortable, them coming back from break. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. And then I found this World Team Challenge, 300 Baker also. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did. That was good. I love watching those World Team Challenges. I wish I could see a lot more. I'd love to see one with Rick Miller back in the day when he had the full Manchu.
Rick was in Coneheads. He was in the beginning of Coneheads. You ever seen it?
No. Yeah, I've seen it.
When they're watching bowling on TV and they freak out because Rick hit the pins and they look like Coneheads.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's Rick Miller?
It's Rick Miller in Coneheads.
No way.
Yeah, he's got a head of hair and everything.
No way.
Yeah.
How much did he get paid for that little spot?
Nothing.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy. A little miss there.
We won't put that one up.
All right. Wow, that is cool. I will have to watch that now.
It's like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, maybe 5 minutes.
Where did they get that clip from?
It was a World Team Challenge TV show on Prime Sports.
Really?
Yep.
We're watching lanes 33 through 36 right here in front of us with our best camera that we have. Mike Flanagan along with Matt McNiel and Rob Gotchall have been so nice to sit in a booth here with me. I really appreciate it, guys, coming solo from St. Louis. It's been some good banter back and forth. And
thanks for having us.
90-something bowlers here on A Squad. Got 90 more coming on B, including you two yahoos. I can't wait until you come through this area.
I know.
And we got the mic down there, too. I mean, we can obviously do some player interviews, so when you guys come through, you definitely have to pick up the mic.
All right, sounds good. What, Robbie, you're going to get lunch somewhere?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. What time is it?
I was thinking about getting a sandwich somewhere. There's a Panera Bread right down the road.
There's Doug Manhart is in the building, too.
No way.
Yeah. Doug was at Central when I was there for my semester,
Yes.
along with Art Brown.
Art Brown.
Mike Ramoklis, Mike Loring.
That's a name I haven't heard in forever, is Mike Ramoklis. What happened to him? What's he doing these days?
He actually runs bowling centers. The folks that bought Crest Bowl, he's kind of the owner's right-hand man. And
Really?
He's running a 24-lane center back in St. Louis and also runs assists with my old job at Crest Bowl.
That's pretty cool. Good for him.
Yeah, he's active on Inside Bowling and promotes the things that he has going on, and started a family, and Mike's doing well. Averaging like 250 in St. Louis.
That would sound about right.
Bowled on our nationals team this year too, at about 1850 or 60 or so. Had a great ball reaction, just couldn't knock them all down.
Mm-hmm. That was easy to do. All right, so now this the Mike Nape lookalike, Nevin Breed, has got the front 5, which is about as. That's pretty rare here. No, we're not seeing a lot of that. Oh boy, that's left. And missed the head pin left. I'm like Dougie Fresh putting the black cloud on people.
That was bad.
That was
bad, man.
Yeah, that was pretty horrible.
We are starting to see a few strings again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think we're at the point now to where it's a lot of risk reward. You can throw the string now, but if you miss, it's going to get 6.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a miss. 6-3. That's not good. Clean games are a premium here.
Absolutely, but pocket splits are in play too.
Yep.
I mean, you can 4-9 real easy, you know, and if you lay off it a little at the bottom, you can plaque 7-10 pretty quick too.
Well, and spare shooting at multiple pin spares is going to be hard too, because you got so much hook in the middle.
And the approaches are a little bit tacky. You know, you get a little quick with your feet, you're gonna see something different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you were certainly right, Rob, about how I didn't, you know, when we talked last night, I didn't think they'd end up this deep. And we still got a couple games left.
You know, I was telling you last night, I mean, I kind of chased them in the practice session pretty good.
Yeah.
But then I was able to make a jump to the right and kind of get back in the track area.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, obviously you can't do that in the middle of a game unless it's going real bad, but at this point it's probably worth a fill shot for a few people just to see if they've smoothed out to the right a little bit where you don't have as much over-under.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to bowl that Minot tournament?
I don't know yet.
In January?
Now, you were talking about Matt here, 2-time Eagle winner. He reminds me a lot of Jim Furyk in golf. I mean,
he does.
It's different getting there, but you know what? At the bottom, he's really clean with it. He's really solid with it at the bottom.
And he's in a good. He's got good leverage at the bottom of his release point. If we could freeze where he's at release point, it'd look like just anybody else. It'd look like you, me, anybody else. It's just how he gets there.
Absolutely.
It's like watching Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
I mean, just no finesse in that golf swing, and I mean, one of the best ever. So
starting to see a lot of friction in the front,
especially front and the mid lanes.
Yes. If it's not going right enough off your hand, it picks up real quick. Starting to see a few more people scanning the bowling center in front of the ball return. I know AJ Chapman, youth superstar from the Iowa area here, is going to Wichita State this year. I just looked over. He's in front of the ball return now. Jason Guest is in front of the ball return. And we're only in game 6. We still got 2 more to go.
Oh, I know. Well, hopefully, I mean, if scoring pace doesn't end up being all that good, then you think next shift of guys are going to play further right?
Well, I think they'll be more content trying to grind it a little more. I mean, if they see that the leader's only a couple hundred over, and that cut score is around the even area, I think people are more committed to grind rather than trying to strike.
Yep. If
the score does jump here the last 2-3 games, they're going to go in faster because they're going to want to strike from the get-go.
Yep.
And we are starting to see some bigger scores. I mean, just within the 6 pairs that we can see really good, I count about 9 games of people that are going to probably shoot 220 or better.
That's a big score out here, too.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, we just had sorry to interrupt you, a question out here from Ken RG. He says, why not switch to weaker equipment versus launching the gutter cap? And I hope you can field that one, because I don't have too much experience lofting the cap.
I mean, it kind of depends. When there's free hook to the right and you have to get in, that is the solution. But right now there's no free hook to the right, so you need to stay where there's oil up front. And obviously you have to move further left if you're burning up the oil in the front. And they're using a lot of surface or aggressive balls because they don't want the sharp motion on the back. They're trying to minimize the motion on the back, but they still need to be able to get it through the front of the lane. And that's their only option, is to keep moving left, and then once you can't move left anymore, then you throw it over what I call throwing it over the lane.
Yeah, there's some big scores. We just saw 248 up here on lane 36. Possible
247 on the same pair.
Yep.
But at the same time, there's a 140 and a 160.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's even in and out. You're catching some pairs where guys may have played them, I don't want to use the word properly, but played them similar in practice to where when you get over there, they're just a little nicer. I mean, you're going to see 220 and possibly 230 on 31 and 2.
Well, I think they're opening up, and if you got the right ball and the right motion in your hand, you can open up the lane now.
Yeah. You can't. The ball cannot be going sideways on the back of the lane. It's got to roll through the back of the lane right now.
I'm sure you guys addressed this issue here, though, in the chat. They were talking about why.
Yeah, we did.
Why do you loft it?
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that they loft it because they need to go more left to right through the heads.
Yep.
And if you're going left to right and you're getting friction, there's an easier way to go left to right, and that's just going through the air.
Yeah, I think I'll be using probably a little lift loft just by looking at what I'm seeing out there.
And you really see it in the younger kids because I've been fortunate enough to kind of be a little more around the college bowling scene these last couple of years, and we hosted the Collegiate Nationals in Lincoln this year. And I mean, these kids, they kind of try to break the lane down for about 2 games, but then once they get frustrated, they just move left and start plowing on it.
Yep.
I mean, they just get in, and I mean, in the good teams, I mean, they got 4 guys that can throw it to the arrows and know where it's going, and that's a big, big thing.
So what's the, I mean, so is there, like you look at the World Series, you look at the shark pattern, I mean, would you want to be a straight guy bowling on the shark pattern?
I don't think so. I think you have to have rev rate on that pattern.
Yeah, and you know, you look at Oscu and Belmo and those guys just, I mean, lofting the cap, and that's, I think that's another thing that hurts, is they use those predetermined patterns, where back in the day it was, you know, the lane crew would take into account the lane surface of the center and the characteristics, and then they'd come up with something that was pretty fair.
Oh, yeah.
And
we discussed this last night, Rob and I did, about these patterns, and because you put out the same thing year after year with the same name, if someone has a bad experience on one of them,
they won't come back.
They're turned off. So, like, if you walk up to a chick on a bad day and you give her a kiss and she's got terrible breath, does that mean she's going to have terrible breath forever?
No, but you don't want to kiss that girl ever again.
Right. So if you go to a tournament and you know that pattern has left a bad taste in your mouth, that's why I said the other reference there on the analogy. You got a bad taste in your mouth. Why would you want to do that again?
Exactly. I mean, and that's the same with a lot of people, is they go out and they bowl a tournament, and you know, they get their clock cleaned because they probably haven't bowled on a tougher pattern like that, or you know, don't have the experience they need to compete, or maybe their skill set isn't there, and then they never come back.
It even goes a step further than that now sometimes, because if people have a bad experience in a bowling center,
I was going to go there.
They won't come back.
There are some professionals that just can't bowl good in a particular house back in the day, so they just wouldn't go to that stop. Yep. That's the one they'd schedule to take off.
You don't see it as, it's not as bad anymore with a lot of the places being synthetic now. So, I mean, there is some lane memory in synthetics, but not like wood. I mean, back in the day on the wood, if it was burnt and the lefties mashed them every week or something, you were done, unless they absolutely just tried to shut the lefties out.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know, I mean, there's a lot of bowling centers where the lefties don't have anything.
That's a big strike for Chad in front of us. I'll put him in the 230s. Navin Breed's going to shoot 240. We had another 2 1/4 up there.
Chad, not Wagon.
So the low game on this pair in front of us, so this reaffirms our thinking earlier that this is one of the better pairs in the house. Low game this cross was 225. And here's Chapman on the right. See how deep he is.
Yeah, this next game we're going to have a lot of talent right in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
And again, he's throwing a ball that rolls fairly early, a little bit of surface, and just in letting the ball just roll and not trying to, you know, get it to boomerang on the back. Trying to control it. Gets 9 when he misses.
I uploaded a video down below. If it's not there, you may have to refresh your screen, but Jason Guest throwing a strike. You get a good look at how he's attacking the lanes today.
Yeah, Jason donated a few bowling balls to the tournament.
Yeah, great guy.
From Des Moines, not too far away. You're going to see some guys left here. Jason Poley's going to be left. Guest is going to be left. Scott Wolin. Dwayne Kiltz.
Entering game number 7, is this?
Yes, this is game 7.
The reason why the scores are a little behind is because this is a 50-lane center, and I was down talking to the tournament crew, and I was down there, and there were some people that were just finishing up game number 5 when game number 6 was almost completed down here.
So you got a couple pairs behind.
As Bill Murray would say in Stripes, that's the fact, Jack.
Actually, Jason's not as far left as I thought he was going to be.
No. We got Andy Shutt up here, too.
You got Miguel Lopez over on 35 and 36 as well.
Here's Scott Woolwind. I haven't seen Scott Woolwind bowl since the Heart of Illinois Youth Classic tournaments. I used to compete against him back in the late 90s.
I like Scotty. He's a good guy.
I saw these guys when they were practicing earlier. I said, you guys got your league team all in the same pair. Asked them where their deck of cards was at.
Yeah, I guess he allowed people to cross with whoever you wanted to.
Yep. You could kind of pick.
Oh, really? So you could cross with who you like, huh?
Yeah. I think you had to put in you could go request it, and then the first person to check in draws the starting pair or something like that.
See, at all of my tournaments now, I just do it one way. And I let everybody practice across the house and then pull for a random lane assignment.
After practice?
Yeah.
The same way Woody Dema does in Chicago.
That's great.
I think it's one of the fairest ways to do it.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
Not to say this tournament needed to do that by any
No,
means.
no, I agree.
It's just how I do it.
Robbie, did you request people to cross with?
I did not.
Okay.
Well, if I would have bowled the tournament, I would have requested to cross with both of you guys, so we would all have been on the same pair.
Hey, that'd have been a good time.
That would have been a fun time.
You guys, seriously, like, my bowling ability has gotten so terrible since I've started doing all this. It's a joke. It's really bad.
What's the reasoning? You're not doing it enough, or
I'm like one of those kids that in school, to be able to get straight A's, I have to study every night and prepare for the test and then take the test, and I can get an A. And then there's some people that can read the material once, go out and party all night and come in and get A's. It's the same thing with my bowling game. I got to practice 4 to 5 days a week and be sharp. I've got way too many moving parts in my swing, and just not familiar enough with my equipment, and my thumb fluctuates in size a lot, so if I'm not bowling much, all my thumb holes are out of whack.
Yeah.
And even if you tape them up, you still don't have the same oval, with your switch grip, and I'm just a train wreck. Too many moving parts.
I'm going to guess that 33 and 34 is hooking a little more than the last pair of these guys came off of. They all seem to go a little high. Woolwin was in the pocket both shots, but I heard him tell Jason when Jason went through the face on the left lane that he went 5 left.
Yeah, they're saying this pair is hooking a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I think coming from, if you go left here, I think they play tighter. And I think if you go right, they might hook more.
Yeah.
Just going to take a guess. I'm actually going to take a quick restroom break, so I'll be back in a quick minute.
Sounds good.
This restroom break is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. Pepto-Bismol, Matt McNeil's favorite medication. So we do have best friends here on 33 and 34.
Yeah, I mean they all like grew up together. They used to all travel together to some of the tournaments too. I mean, they'd come to Nebraska, bowl some stuff. Be these 4 and Tommy Hess. Wow, the ball's reading really early.
Poley's a guy too. He's either really on or really off, from what I've been able to notice just looking at regional standings.
Last week at the regional in Council Bluffs, he was 170 over with 1 to go, and the cut was going to look like it was going to be right around 110, 120. And he made the flip from 15 and 16. He had to go down to 1 and 2, which in this bowling center, 1 and 2 is never close. I mean, lane one of them hooks 5 more than the other, and they're both always hooking 5 to 10 more than every other pair. And I think he started out with splits. The first 5 frames, he finished with 126.
Jeez.
And he finished 11th, and they took 10 to match play. Still cash, so he didn't fall out of the cash. But I mean, I just felt for him. It's just it was the bad draw, you know, to start on 3 and 4, and then eventually have to finish on 1 and 2. But Jason's a good guy. I mean, he beat himself up over it for a little bit, but I mean, he'll learn from it and come back.
We haven't seen any 3 bills today yet, have we?
No, I don't think you're gonna. You might come tomorrow. I think it's going to be hard to see it today. I think pair to pair they're different. They're going to be different enough, and to carry 12 times on this and in this bowling center, it's going to take a lot. 250 is a big game. Anything over that's a really, really big game.
Guest is through the face again. I was down at the tournament office, and they ran about 250 total brackets for the first set.
It's about. I was talking to Joe last night. We were talking about what the magic number might be for total brackets for the tournament, and my guess was 600 to 700. And keep in mind they limited them. I mean, you can only get in a max of 80 for the 6-game block. So I mean, 250. That's a pretty good number. And I think there's a few more bracket players on the B squad. But yeah, I think that's gonna be good.
So Rob Gotchall, you're coming to this tournament obviously from Nebraska. Do you load up every set?
I do. If they're hard, I do. I believe enough in my ability and my spare game that, you know, when 200's a good score and it's not going to hurt you, I'm okay with that. When they wall them up and, you know, you can bowl 230 and get run over, I don't like that at all. It's
what makes this a good weekend for you?
The guy who bowls the best is going to win. You have to make shots. It's a nice long format, so, you know, 8 games. If you do start bad, shoot 150, 160, or throw one in there, you got plenty of time to make it up. A lot of tournaments these days, you know, there used to be 2-day tournaments back in the day, but they've minimized them down to 1 day because obviously it's better for the bowling center, stuff like that. But they've made the qualifying 5-6 games. You get slow out of the gate, you can be in trouble.
So for you to come to this event, looks like the prize list was $3,000 for first, $2,800 for second, $2,300 for third, $2,100 for fourth, $1,800 for fifth, $1,600 for sixth, $1,500 for seventh, $1,300 for eighth, $1,250 for ninth, $1,150 for 10th. 11th place gets $1,000 on a $120 entry.
You cannot beat the way he's paid down through the middle. I mean, there's not many tournaments like that. Usually, what a lot of guys will do is they'll put, instead of that prize list, they'll make this thing pay $10,000 for first, and then it'll go $5,000 second, $2,500 third, and then drop to $1,000 for fourth. Where I think most, since we're hurting for entries at a lot of tournaments these days, I think more people are okay with the top not paying as good if it pays through, you know, say good through, like you just said. What did you say, 11th is $1,000?
I just read this wrong, actually.
That's 2 separate prize lists.
Right. So let's just go backtrack a little bit. It's still awesome.
11th's got to be like $600.
It's $3,000, $2,300, $1,800, $1,500, $1,250, $1,000 is sixth. Which $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 for sixth. That's
place,
really
that's
good.
$900, $800, $700, $650, $600, $575, $550. Then it goes down throughout. But the payout for $120 entry to have that kind of money is insane.
Well, and then keep in mind he runs a $10 pot. It's called the Bet You Can Win. And all that money goes to the top. Well, if we have 180 bowlers, you gotta assume 100 guys are gonna pay the $10.
That's an extra.
So it's an extra $1,000 on top. It's gonna pay $4,000 to win.
I remember last year I got $550 for that.
Yeah.
So that pays. Definitely worth the $10. Just never know.
Well, and he does it in his other tournaments to where they might only pay like $600 to win. might be like a $40, $50 entry fee, and it only pays $600 to win, but he'll get 50 guys to pay that, and then all of a sudden, if you paid that, all of a sudden you're making $1,000.
Yep.
And I've even seen it where guys finished 4th and won the bet you can win for $400, and then they end up making more money than the guy that won the tournament.
Exactly.
Do you guys think that bowling would be more successful if the smaller markets were targeted to instead of the larger markets? Like if you were going to start up your own tour, Matt McNiel,
Sure.
you're starting up your own tour.
Yep.
Would you be like Chicago, LA, New York, Orlando, or would you think Waterloo, Iowa,
Yeah, you got to start somewhere
Moline,
and build
Illinois,
it. Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, you got to start. I mean, obviously,
Tulsa?
Chicago's a great place. It's a big hotbed of bowling. So I think if you can start where you have a really good draw, where you're going to get it, or Detroit, or Milwaukee, or.
Well, here's my thought with this. This tournament here has over $12,000 added.
Yep.
The reason why they were able to get $12,000, it was pretty large sums from certain companies. The reason why they were able to get that kind of money is because we're in a small market here.
Yep.
And this is a big deal for this market.
Oh, yeah.
This could make the news here.
It probably will make the news.
Oh, certainly.
But if you were to do this, say, where I'm familiar with, back home in St. Louis, and I go to the Convention and Visitors Bureau and say, I'd like to get $10,000, they're going to say, well, all our money's tied up in the Rams, the Blues, the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So just food for thought when people are out there looking to host a tournament somewhere. Maybe the idea is to look for smaller towns. There's a WBA Decatur Open coming up in a couple of weeks, and John Jordan has been able to lean on people in the city of Decatur, Illinois, and they have a lot of added money as well. So it's just a thought, just something to
Look
think
what
about.
Jeff Carter's done in Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that community's behind it. And, I mean, they had a nice big pro-am Friday night of that team tournament.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I think the smaller market is a good target because, yes, bowling's big in Chicago, bowling's big in Detroit, bowling's big in St. Louis, but I don't think they follow it like that. And you're right, these towns commit to events like this. I mean, Lincoln, Nebraska, where I live, we hosted the ITCs last year. We'll host them again next year. And John Lacido landed the bid for the 2016 World Youth Championships that were just held in Thailand.
Yeah.
Or was it Hong Kong? It was one of those. Lincoln, Nebraska just got it because he went to the Convention and Visitors Bureau and said, let's bring a world-class event.
Yeah.
And, they jumped right on board.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a follow-up question with this. If I said to you guys, if you don't get John Deere to donate $50,000 to bowling by September 15th, 2013, you're going to be taken down to the city hall and you're going to be hung. You're going to die. You're going to be hung. What would be your strategy to be sure that John Deere kicks in $50,000 for bowling?
Look at how many people here use John Deere products. That's what I'd say. I'd gather the demographics of the people who bowl the tournament. I mean, we're in Iowa. A lot of bowlers are from Nebraska. I mean, you're in the Midwest. You have a yard, okay? I don't care what you do on a Saturday between the months of May and October, but you are cutting something on a Saturday in the Midwest. You're cutting something. And John Deere has a great product line of lawn tractors that I love them. I have a John Deere myself. And I also have a John Deere snow thrower.
But the John Deere it has to be held in this community too.
Yes.
You know,
oh yeah.
you can't ask for John Deere to sponsor a tournament or give you $50,000 and then we're going to host it in Los Angeles.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
You can't do that.
So if you went to John Deere and said, this is what I would do. The first thing is I would make some sort of viral videos and get everybody on board challenging John Deere to get involved in bowling. And that probably would not work, but that's just where I'd start. I would get a John Deere on-the-ball bowling ball made, probably 5 of them, and I would send them as a free gift to the CEO, the CFO, the president, the human resources manager, and all of them. And then I would probably send them, I'd find out from their secretaries what their favorite food is. So if one of them likes cheesecake, I'd probably find the best cheesecake in the United States and have it overnighted to them in a frozen container. And the cheesecake would be shaped like a bowling pin. And I would just start throwing myself at John Deere. And I'd probably have about a $2,000 to $3,000 budget on this because I don't want to die.
Yeah. You'll spare no expense.
Right. And then once all these things happen, and I finally got through to them and I'm able to get in front of them, I would have about probably five tournaments, all in areas where John Deere has a large presence. The bowlers that bowl in those towns have a good chance of owning John Deere's, or they cut grass, or they own farms, or it would be near farms.
Or you snow throw.
Or you snow plow, right.
Because up here in the Midwest, you snow throw. You have a snow blower.
Yeah.
Everyone has one.
And I would probably have a lane machine from Kegel painted green with the big John Deere logo on it right next to Kegel. And maybe put some fake wheels on the side of it to make it look like it's actually a tractor going down the lane.
What about a U-clip seat for someone?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a smokestack.
Yeah.
With a flapper on the top of it.
Yeah. Yep. And I would probably start there. And, I honestly believe that if you worked hard enough and you put it to John Deere that not you're going to die, but your sport is going to die, and you did all those sorts of things, you could have a chance to get $50,000 from John Deere.
Maybe more.
Maybe more, yeah.
Now, it all sounds great.
It does.
It all sounds wonderful, and I just came up with this great plan. And so go do it, Mike. Why don't you do this John Deere tour? Well, maybe I will.
Me and Rob will both be there.
But that's how you got to think about it.
You're right.
And at the USBC tournament, I just saw Mike Fagan posted some pictures of himself from like 2000. Did you see these?
With the blonde spike hair?
Yeah, yeah.
I've not seen that. Can you pull that up?
It's good.
Okay, it's a bunch of his old USBC singles photos.
All right, can we see these?
Yeah, I'll get that
All
up
right,
in just a second. But imagine at the John Deere tournament, you got a John Deere tractor sitting in the front with a backsplash, it says John Deere Bowling or whatever, and you could get your picture taken and you could put it on Facebook and everything. Here I am with my straw hat on and my bowling balls.
Yeah. And have like the big weed that sticks out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of those, and you can put one of those in your mouth too.
Got the John Deere red carpet.
Yeah.
Or green carpet.
I like it.
So the $50,000 would be used for about 5 events, $10,000 added at each, similar to this event.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty nice. I like it. I do like it. All right, so let's try to find these photos here, because you know what? I did go golfing with Mike when I was down in Texas, and he's got a good waggle. I mean, one of the best waggling wagglers I've ever seen.
Well, most people that I know, they
Here you go, guys.
They golf how he bowls. They golf how they bowl.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
And is his golf swing like nice and loose and long?
Oh yeah.
Just like his bowling game, Matt?
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Oh,
Most people
very
bowl
loose.
golf just like they bowl. If they're a power player, they grip it and rip it.
Here's another one.
He looks like a high school bowler in that one.
Yeah, he does, doesn't it? That is hilarious. I like the old eagle in the back too.
2001. So it's moments like that. You guys, I mean, Matt, you hadn't seen it yet, but Rob, you knew exactly what we were talking about here. I'm sure there's thousands of other bowlers out there that know what we're talking about there. So if Mike Fagan posted a picture on a John Deere tractor, you're going to be like, I saw Mike on that John Deere tractor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And you put obscure figures on it. You know, like somebody that wouldn't be a tractor, you know, or somebody from Florida pushing a snowblower.
Right.
You know, you tweak it up to give it that extra flair.
You know, I'm surprised that a struggling sports franchise hasn't, or maybe the PBA or USBC, somebody should go after a struggling sports franchise.
Make a show out of it?
And be willing to co-op together. So, like, imagine, let's just take a hockey team. What's a struggling hockey team? Any idea?
Do they have a hockey team in, like, Tennessee or something?
Let's take the Carolina Hurricanes.
I think Nashville was pretty good last year, though.
The Nashville Predators? Yeah, we'll take Nashville.
Sure.
They were good, though.
That's okay. Nashville Predators, but maybe financially they're struggling is what I'm getting at, more so than how they're performing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what if the Nashville Predators, they got 2 Zambonis that do the ice. What if one of the Zambonis had, like, PBA bowlers on it, and the Nashville Predators were the official franchise of the PBA Tour? Okay? And at the Nashville Predators games, every game a pro bowler is there, and they put them up on the Jumbotron, and every fan gets a free game of bowling at every game, good in their local BPA Nashville bowling center.
Yeah.
And you work that relationship. The PBA has Chris Paul, which I love that relationship. That's a really good relationship. But, you know, you could do things like that.
Yeah. Now, here's the only thing I'm going to say. And this is the only thing I'm going to say about these ideas are great and good. However, how many live telecasts does the PBA have this year?
I don't know how many it is.
I think it's, Robbie, do you know offhand? Is it 4 or 6?
How many live? Like
4.
Live.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's only the majors.
So it's
4?
It's really only 3 because I
3,
think the World Championships is taped.
Yeah, it is.
So I think live it's the Masters, U.S. Open, and TOC.
Yep. All right, so
well,
this is what
I thought there was another one they mixed in there.
There might be, but I know offhand the majors are for sure. But other than that, I think most of the other ones are taped.
All right, so you got 3 live telecasts, and and they're all differing. They're you know, sometimes they're you know, they're just, there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, it's not like Saturday afternoon every time. You knew it when it was on every week at this time on this station. You know, it seems like it's just gotten lost in the shuffle. And I think,
oh yeah, they're getting kicked around, no doubt about it.
I think that's one of the big things that stands in front of them of achieving the goal of people being able to get to know people, because they're never on the television. They're never on the television on a consistent basis.
There's some validity to that. I would believe in that.
I feel that's the biggest opposition. I don't even watch bowling on TV anymore, to be honest. The commentating is not nearly as good as it used to be with Bo and Chris.
I will say, though, I did enjoy Pete's moment. I mean, that moment would have probably been good with anybody, but I thought Gary Thorne and Randy did a nice job with that one.
Yeah, I thought they did.
I like the addition of Gary Thorne.
Gary's good, yeah.
I think as he gets more comfortable, it's gonna be really good. There's nobody I like listening to call hockey better than Gary Thorne.
Yeah, him and Bill Clement were amazing. Yeah. Hockey night on ESPN.
Yeah, and he even does a great job with baseball.
Oh, he does.
As slow as baseball can be on TV, he really makes you feel involved and
creates the drama, the sports drama, and I think that's what bowling has missed a lot, is just creating that and making you feel like you are a part of it. And I think it was very tough with a lot of the commentating that's been done too. I mean, so you watch a show and it's just Nelson Chris just jive so together. I guess maybe they set the bar so high that.
You want to know the biggest thing with the PBA telecast that I think makes more of a difference than people realize today compared to yesterday?
All right.
Is I look at the telecast now and I list pros and I list cons.
Mm-hmm.
And almost everything on there I like better today than I did before. I really do. If you go on YouTube and you watch a telecast from last year or you watch one from ABC in the 1990s, the picture's clearer.
It is.
The graphics are better.
It is.
Most of the camera angles are better. Sometimes they get a goofball that switches a camera at the wrong time. But until you've walked in those shoes, trust me, it's very easy to do. Clicking these cameras up here, you miss stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the one that really gets me the most. Forget the commentary.
Okay,
forget that one. Because, Chris and Bo, that's like Joe Montana retiring. You just can't do anything about it. But the crowd.
Yeah.
There's not a packed house.
No, not like it used to be.
No.
And people in their Sunday best on a Saturday in a bowling center, too.
Right. So I kind of feel like that is something that's tangible that can change. You can get people there.
Yes.
You might have to pay them.
Oh, yeah.
Or you might have to give them all some Jack Link's jerky.
Yes.
Or if a four-bagger gets thrown on the next commercial break, women are running around, the Bud Girls are there. Hell, you can get the Bud Girls to come to your center and hand out beer. Well, have them come to your center when the PBA tour's on commercial break and hand out Budweisers to everybody in the crowd when a four-bagger gets thrown. You want to talk about the entire crowd erupt.
Oh,
and you want that to come through on TV?
Yeah, for a free beer there.
Bill O'Neill, four-bagger. And he walks over and grabs a Budweiser and freaking cracks it open. Okay? And the whole crowd is going nuts, and they're all drinking Buds.
Yeah, and they're getting
the official beer of bowling.
And they love it.
Yeah,
because
the whole
they
crowd's into it.
Nobody loves anything more than anything when it's free.
Yeah.
I mean, people will take free feces in a bag just because it's free.
It's like the Cheeto story you told me last night, Mike. Nobody cared about the socks you were going to give away for the 300. People talk about the Cheetos because that's what you said week one. They're like, I want Cheetos, and I know what you mean. You do need to get the fans involved. I mean, there's some shows that it looks like you're watching a funeral on TV.
So, we talk about gimmicks and we talk about the purity of bowling, okay? So the purity of bowling is you bowl indoors with no dust and debris, and you bowl on a pattern, and these guys got there through round-robin match play and everything, and now they're bowling a stepladder, all right? Keep that. But there's no reason why you can't have a gimmick or an incentive to watch by if this bowler does this, all of the other people that aren't professional bowlers are going to act in a different way, and they're going to get different things. Imagine, at the baseball games between innings, when they go to commercial breaks, the girls come out and shoot all this stuff up into the stands and all that. How awesome would that be if you're cracking open Budweisers or Pepsis or whatever?
I mean, it is. You're right. It's a big deal.
It would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get anything for free,
yeah,
you remember the moment.
And what if those cans have bowling pins on them, and Budweiser specially makes them for that show, and they're limited, and people don't even open them, and they're putting them on eBay for collector's items?
Yep.
Now you're onto something.
Because I
miss the bowling pin bottles.
Yeah.
The Budweiser bowling pins.
They still make them.
Yeah, they do. In St. Louis, they have them.
Oh, all right. I got another reason to stop down to St. Louis.
But your local distributor, the only reason you can't get them is if you get them through your local distributor, they have to buy like pallets of them to ship them to you.
So we got a break in the action here in front of us. We're up here talking about bowling ideas and concepts because I know these two guys, Matt McNiel and Rob Gotchall, are passionate about the sport. They put in the blood, sweat, and the tears every week going out and bowling. And Having some good constructive talk up here at the Fusion Realtors Open. I'm Mike Flanagan from InsideBowling.com. It's the 2012 edition of this tournament. First time we're here. Great host here at Cadillac Lanes in Waterloo. Great sponsors. Speaking of Budweiser, they're one of them here this weekend. $12,000 added thanks to Fusion Realtors, Brunswick, Budweiser, Rydell Chevrolet, Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau, Cedar Valley Sports Commission, and the Waterloo Implement. So I really believe that Budweiser thing could be a hit.
I agree 100%. That is one of the smartest ideas I've ever heard in my life.
You know, the other one that I've thrown out there too, but you can't just pick your advertisers, is what if, have you ever been to these deal sites, slickdeals.net or binsbargains.com or any of these
Not really.
cheap deal
I've
sites?
heard of them, but
Trust me, I buy all my stuff there. These Beats by Dre, $90, got them for $40 on there because people find the best deals.
yeah.
Like if you work at Gap and it's friends and families and you got a coupon code, they'll post it on there so everybody else can go shop online and save 40%, friends and family, stuff like that. It's a community message board, basically, on steroids. So imagine if the PBA Tour had Jiffy Lube or even the Women's U.S. Open, anything on TV. We need to stop talking about the PBA Tour. How about just anything, any bowling that's on television? Okay, which the easiest thing to say is PBA Tour. But if there was a Jiffy Lube that if someone throws a 5-bagger, Monday, America can get oil changes for $5. Okay? So here's Belmonte, goes up, 5-bagger, and he turns around and says, "Oil changes on me, America." That would make SportsCenter.
Oh, yeah.
The deal sites would post on the page, $5 oil changes tomorrow thanks to the PBA Tour and Jason Belmonte throwing 5 strikes.
Yeah, people would really attach to the players then.
Yeah.
People would have a reason to watch because, hey, I got to see if we can get a free oil change.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, stuff like that's
It's
brilliant.
interactive.
That's sheer brilliance.
Oh, Jesus.
Sir, you are a king among men.
But that's great, but how do you get Jiffy Lube to come on board, or Valvoline Instant Oil Change, or
You got to have more shows.
O'Reilly's Auto Parts?
I've said it once, I'll say it again. You need more shows on a consistent basis, week in, week out. That's it.
Well, when they had them, these people weren't bucking up, so how do you
but
get them?
but your ideas weren't in place either. If you had, okay, I tell you what, if you have the platform, it's like the Field of Dreams things. If you build it, they will come. If you have the platform, if you can get, you have to get a guy who's going to sacrifice some money to set this platform up. Okay, we're going to do this.
Well, the PBA has had people sacrifice.
Yes, I know.
It's just different ideas and different concepts.
Yeah, but if you take,
and it's nobody's current hierarchy's fault right now.
No, we're not going to associate. We're not going to play the blame game here.
No.
All right, so let's say it's we rewind the clock. It's 1997.
All right.
Okay, 32 shows. Okay, what was it? 20 some on ABC, and then the rest on ESPN.
Yep.
Mike Durbin and what's his name? Guy always said double. Denny Shriver.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say it's a 32-week tour. You got 32 shows. Most of them during the winter, fall and winter, are prime time. The summer is ESPN. And you say, here's my platform, here's what I got, this is my idea for you guys. You will be on television Saturday afternoon, prime time, major network, every week, 32 weeks.
Yeah.
I think now they're going to say yes. Versus, well, we got 3 shows. One is in January, one's in February, and then one's in April.
And like your concept would be tough too when they're taping all these shows. Even though you'd get your $5 oil change after the guy threw a 5-6-bagger
show,
but it needs to be live because it needs to give the excitement.
So
what about like on the Women's U.S. Open? What if Victoria's Secret came on board And if somebody throws a 5-bagger or something, there's a free bra. Yeah.
Or bra and panty
I was
combo.
They don't even have to give anything away free if it's buy one, get one
Yeah,
free.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
they can do BOGO ones.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. And I wouldn't mind seeing some of the better female bowlers doing even like a calendar. There are some good-looking ladies out there.
we got the man on the featured pair next.
Now, here we go, guys. Game number 8 coming up right here in front of us. And just want to let everybody know we've had a 300 today.
No way.
Matt Thompson, way down at the other end of the building, had 300.
Wow.
And
Right
we
after I said there wouldn't be one.
Yep. Just that's how it works. Basically, could lightning strike me? Rob says no. Next thing you know, I'm cooked. So we've got some excitement coming across here. We've got I see Sean Riley from Missouri. I see Jeff Riggles. I see
The legend, Jeff Riggles.
Jeff says he's so bad. You want to grab the mic and talk to us?
Yeah, I want to hear the rant.
Which one?
It's over there on the end.
Yeah, what?
There's Jeff. Jeff, what's going on?
Let's see. Matt Smith just shot 300, and my 2 worst games together are 298.
Ouch.
So how does that say it?
Are you having fun today?
I'm enjoying the social aspect of it. My bowling is not good.
What do you think of our expert commentators?
They're probably going to finish first and second in the tournament, one way or the other.
Jeff?
They should stick around at the second block and do it, except they got a bowl. Huh?
Jeff, can I get your insight on the pattern?
I bowled on this pattern one other time, and I had the same results, and if I find it somewhere again, I won't be bowling on it.
All right.
This is a death pattern for me.
And death pattern for you or a certain type of bowler?
I think it's just me. I don't know. I just having a bad day too, but I'm not a fan of this pattern. Too flat, it's not short enough to get people to play outside, and it's flat enough that you have to play outside to break it down right, and everybody started in, and I started the first game with a turkey and shot 200, and every time I moved left, it hooked more.
And
there's Zach's 11th Brooklyn of the day.
Thank you, Jeff, for that expert commentary.
That kind of goes back to what I was saying this morning, early in the beginning.
Yeah, you did say that earlier today.
I did.
Zach, how are you bowling?
There's a look at Riggles right there. Looks like he's throwing the lucid.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough hand and speed to open up the lane.
He's kind of fast tracking it here.
He is.
Pin setter comes up. There goes Jeff.
He's on meltdown.
Yeah. Hey, just picked
Yay.
the quartet.
There we go.
Hall of Famer.
The legend.
Whoops.
Oh, yeah, that makes up for one of the 38 years I missed.
Tommy Hess playing him kind of in, but a little straighter through the lane. Not going around it like a lot of the people we just saw the last couple games.
Yep.
Standings through game number 6. Dwayne Kiltz plus 128. Troy Fuller plus 106. Third place, Ben Trug is tied with Joe Ingelicks at plus 96. And in 5th place is Chad Kloss, tied with Mike Peters at plus 95. We saw those guys come across here just a little while ago. Right now, in 32nd place at plus 13 is Jason Hale. He is the lowest person plus.
All right, Rob, with those numbers being said, any thoughts or insights?
I think we're right around that. It's going to be the even to 30 over. You're seeing some people start to bowl some big games. Obviously, we just had a 300. Tom Hess just told me that he bowled 250 something the last game to get to plus 20. So there's scores out there, but I don't think you're seeing a lot of people match up the whole way through the 8-game block. That when you have your chunk to get it, you better get it.
I think they're getting their chunk when they come through here too.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think we're seeing the highest scores right here.
Yeah, 33-34 looks like a gold mine pair.
Yeah, it has been really good. I mean, when Matt Wagon and them guys were here, he was low on the pair with 225. But the last group we saw come through here from their previous pair, I mean, this pair hooked twice as much as what they just came off of.
That's true. There's an old yin yang. I haven't seen one of those in a long time, huh?
It just seems like a lot of early roll.
Yeah, a lot of early friction. And it's like you need tilt.
He needs that motion on the back, but not what it's doing in the front.
Exactly. So you got to use tilt to get it through the fronts.
Spare shooter, Jeff Regals.
What if we got those horns?
Oh, they had them at one of the tournaments.
It was at the
they called?
tournament, the Sunsets at Sunset Station, not too long ago.
What are they called? Eulelas or something?
PabCon, that's it. Yeah, the PabCon.
Oh, yeah. The horns that are spelled other than they're said.
Yeah.
Sounds like you stuck a angry nest of hornets in a Coke can.
Yeah. Very nice. Tommy, Flush Brooklyn for the triple.
I think we're going to put that out there since he gives me such a hard time all the time.
Robbie, are you going to bowl the World Series?
Currently, I am not going to.
Okay.
I am not going to join. I'm going to bowl the Bud Light Challenge in Buffalo, New York that weekend. The first week. I am going out for the member, non-member, and bowling with Josh Blanchard.
Okay. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to, after this game, since we have time, I'm going to run over to the Panera. They have I think I'm going to grab like a bread bowl soup. They got a summer corn chowder.
Oh, really?
It comes in a nice bread bowl.
I went to Noodles and Company yesterday here. Had some chicken noodle soup, small little bowl there, mac and cheese. That mac and cheese is unbelievable.
That is good stuff.
I think this is game 8.
This is.
Pay it back.
Tommy had to pay that back pretty soon. But you know what? Sometimes when you expect bad things to happen to you, they will. That's all I'm going to say.
Here's your new side. Three latest featured blogs, the main blog, your other blogs underneath it, your ball review.
Almost bounced it out.
We did.
Knowing Riggs, though, he'll probably make a couple thousand at the craps table tonight.
Yeah.
And just, be like, well,
I finished second in the tournament.
Yep.
Didn't bowl good, but I finished second. We'll see his Facebook picture with all his chips in his hand later.
Yeah. Or a big plastic bag of wadded up $100 bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good time at the craps table when it's on fire, boy.
Oh, yeah, he is. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
We took this layout. See this layout? Took that layout.
You know who I I got to bowl the Peterson with Adam Barta.
Yeah, he almost took the lead.
He did. He struggled the last game, unfortunately.
I think you stepped away. Me and Mike talked about it earlier. We were talking about Tim Barrett.
Yes.
Who lives in St. Louis, and he came to Nebraska for a few years.
Yep, Timmy B.
Yep. That Barta mashed him early. He was like 100-some over at one point or something like that.
He was flying.
Yeah. When he strikes, when Adam Barta strikes, he strikes a lot.
He does strike a ton.
It's becoming quite a party up here in the booth. We've got a lot of people stopping by to talk to us.
Yeah, Tony Oliva couldn't believe I wasn't watching the Husker game.
Oh, so I found out, Rob, for pairings, he's putting people from the same areas together. So you're with Wrangle and a couple other guys.
Oh, I get to bowl with Shimwrecker, huh?
Yeah. I'm bowling with Manhart, which will be fun.
Oh, that'll be good.
That'll be good. Although he's always a good 20 right of me. But still, he's a fun guy to bowl with.
Is he married yet?
Manny? I don't think so. I do not think so.
This is crunch time right here. I mean, Tom he said he just bowled 250 the last game to get to 20 over, and he's floating right around that pacing 2-0 right now.
He's on 2-0 pace with the Open.
Yeah. And, if that cut score stays right around where we're saying, from anywhere from even to 30 over, I mean, he's going to need all this 2-0 right now.
Yeah,
maybe a little more to be comfortable.
I'd want 220.
Yeah, I would want to get to 50 to be safe.
Yep.
I mean, I think because the next squad, there's quite a few strong players.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say either squad's weaker or stronger or anything like that, but whenever you bowl A squad, you don't want to be at that halfway point. You like to be in the top 20 on this squad, because then you can go have some lunch, hang out tonight, and know you're okay for tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
And Zach here is plus 48. He needs 180 or better, I would say. Maybe even more than that.
Oh, I'd want 2-0.
Yeah.
I'd want 2-0 to feel good about myself.
And I mean, unless he converts the 4-6 here, he's going to be on 170 pace. So
exactly.
Him and Tommy are about the same right now, 20, 30 over right in there.
Yeah, Riggles is minus 126.
Oh,
wow. He wasn't lying when he said he doesn't like this pattern.
no. Well, and I can't see it being good for him or any guys who throw it pretty straight.
Well, he's got enough voodoo roll that he can usually get it to come out of the stuff from the right that nobody can get it to.
Yeah.
Nobody can get it to hook out of. But I don't think there's enough push in there today to throw it to that spot.
He's got to keep his break point too far left, too close to the pocket, because if he gives it away, the ball just rolls out.
Now, hey guys, wouldn't you think, because of where he's got to play on the lane, he needs a ball that's going to clear the fronts really well, and it's probably going to just be a little rolly through the mid lane.
If you had something negative drilled, I could see that.
I was thinking a symmetrical ball for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, symmetrical pearl drilled negatively, I think, would be the
frantic, crossroad.
Frantic might be a little sideways, but yeah, I like the crossroad.
Fire road.
Tell you what would roll good right now.
IQ Tour.
Yeah,
IQ Tour.
no,
the IQ Tour for him might roll a little too quick.
But whatever it would be, it would need to have polish on it.
Yeah.
And he could play like a little fade back.
Yeah. Well, AMF remade the bullwhip, and I could see that ball being absolute money right now on that kind of angle.
That was a good bowling ball.
Yes. Yeah. I love mine.
Well, Zach here, he needs to get something started here these last 5 frames. He's throwing plastic.
Oh, that's a white dot, isn't it?
I think it's a blue dot.
Oh, a blue dot. Sorry.
You just switched from resin to plastic.
See, that's just something about bowling on these patterns that don't have as much volume or shorter patterns. I just personally, I want to see Jeff pull out his lucid and point the thing. I want to see Hess grab it for all it's worth so he can get through the pins better than the average bowler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my favorite kind of bowling to watch.
Well, I think these shorter patterns are designed to be honest, more honest, because usually to make a pattern honest, you make it shorter and flatter. Those are kind of the two principles.
Yeah, and then
at least I've always gone by as a lane man, because I used to be a lane man myself. But when I needed to put out something tough, it was shorter and it was flatter.
And Joe Bowler gets to watch their ball still go sideways at the end of the pattern.
Exactly. But it does you no good. I mean, you can hook it, you can play straight, but if you don't throw it exactly the same time and time, then you don't get a good result.
It's kind of like basketball. If the hoop is too tall, there are certain people that can't even get to the hoop to dunk.
Exactly.
So instead, you should just make the hoop smaller in diameter because everybody can still get to it.
Yeah. Yep. But I think if he would have gone 37 feet and had this, then I think we'd be seeing a different picture. We'd have even lower scores. People would be forced to stay right. You know, you'd still get your yahoos trying to play the pattern completely wrong. But you know, they paid their money to be here, and they can do what they like. But you know, if this pattern was say 37 feet this shape, then I don't think you could be able to get as far left as you can and do what you're doing.
I agree.
Well, this will be interesting now for Hess after not being able to convert to 3.6910, which is a very hard spare to make on this pattern. And now he's got 114 in the 6th. He's going to need a double somewhere here.
Maybe even a triple.
I'm thinking a triple because he's on 190 pace. I don't know. That's a scary.
30 is really scary.
Yeah.
How fried would you be if Zach, who has gone Brooklyn quite a bit, they made reference to it coming over to this pair?
Oh, Tom's gonna fry.
Well,
He
that's where I
misses.
was going.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry, Mike.
it's
Sorry about that.
the tough thing is it's part of the game. I mean, if you
It is.
If you the only thing you have to do is hit the head pin, you know. The object is to knock all 10 pins down, and if that's how Zach does it, you know, obviously he's not intentionally doing it.
No. Now, Zach's working on he just threw a nice flush shot on 34.
He just switched to his plastic.
He went high on 33 the last time with plastic, left a 4.6. Let's see what happens here.
It's a good shot. Oh, wow.
No, that didn't even try.
How many times have you gone through the face for a split, and then the very next shot you miss right?
It's overcompensation. It's easy to do.
How do you guys get around that? What's the best tip when you go high or light on a lane to not let that influence your next shot?
Rob?
I mean, first of all, you have to identify whether it was a quality shot or whether it was just a bad shot. If it's a bad shot, you just forget about it. If it was a quality shot, you know, you have your system of how you move and you make it happen. You know, something like Zach here, obviously I don't know how much he moved, but throwing plastic and going high with plastic, and you get used to making some of these resin moves, you've just moved an area code to the left by moving one or two boards. You know, and he was a hair more aggressive with that one, and the plastic needs to pick up in the front. The plastic's not going to pick up on the back, and he threw it right through the front, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, if you throw a bad shot and you miss the head pin, that's behind you. I mean, the next time you throw, you get up and throw, that's not even in your mind. I mean, I think if you can do that effectively, I think that's what separates great bowlers from good bowlers, is the fact that, you know, if they do make a bad shot, it's immediately put out of play, and the focus is now on making your spare and then making another good shot.
Yep. See, they tugged that one. Brooklyn.
So and Tom's watching that and just frying because he knows the numbers.
Well, and what's funny is Tom was commenting about it at the craps table last night about him throwing plastic and him going Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tom he sometimes has a demonstrative attitude towards himself or his fortune, I think.
He told me last week, I crossed with him at the regional last week, and then we bowled each other in position around a match play. And he told me last week, I said something to him. I said,
All right,
Tom,
guys,
you seem to be pretty hard on yourself a lot. And, you get mad, and he goes, I don't do it because I'm really like that mad. He goes, I do it to motivate myself. And it made a little more sense. And, I mean, he'll admit to you, too. He doesn't get near as wild and crazy as he did 10, 15 years ago. I mean, it's his way of dealing with it, and you know what? You deal with it. I mean, everybody does it differently.
Well, he's looking 190 in the face right now.
Yeah, he really needs a double to get to 2-0, and that if he could get out for like 202, 203,
that's a good out.
It'd get him to plus 30.
Mm-hmm. No matter what, though, even if he goes sheet, he's going to tell all of us that he didn't make it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
no doubt.
Because if he went off the sheet, he would get to plus 42 from the number he gave me.
I'd feel comfy there.
I think 42 would be okay.
I'd feel all right. I'd feel great at 50.
He's dialed in on the right lane.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed on the right lane.
He made a great shot on 33 the last time.
Yeah. The left lane's hooking a little more, and I think he just took a little out of it, and it just didn't face up, and it left the weak 10.
So this is the conclusion of A Squad qualifying here on InsideBowling.com. Rob Gotchall, Matt McNiel, and myself, Mike Flanagan, have been bringing you the coverage. I really appreciate it, guys. We're getting ready to wrap up here. Matt, were you going to go grab something to eat?
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch the conclusion of this game here, and then I'm going to zip down to the Panera. Do you want something?
I think I'll wrap up coverage too and just run out with you.
Oh boy, that sounds great, Mike.
Because I don't really see. Once these pairs are done in front of us, I'm just going to turn it over to music and get everybody at home ready to go for B Squad.
I like it. Let's do it.
We can knock it out fairly quickly.
And it's looking roughly like we're probably going to start about a half hour late. I would assume 2:30-ish.
Yeah, so we'll have a good 35, 40 minutes comfortably at Panera to get back easily.
Yeah, it's just right down the road here, too.
Perfect.
Everything's right down the road in Waterloo. I like this town. It's nice.
You know what I do like about this town is they have a Maid-Rite. You ever eaten at Maid-Rite?
No.
Okay, so let me just give a shameless plug for Maid-Rite, because there's barely any of them around. I think there's one in the state of Minnesota, and I don't know if there's maybe one or two in Iowa, but it's a hamburger, but what they do to the meat is the meat's cooked, and then it's ground beef, cooked, and then they take all the grease out of it, and then put it between the two buns, and they put, they'll throw cheese on there and pickles and stuff like that on there. And then they put a special seasoning on it. It's just fabulous. And then they have like fresh cut French fries and really good shakes and stuff. But it's pretty reasonable priced. But it is very good.
Yeah. Did you go there yesterday when you got to town?
No.
Was that your dinner for tonight?
I don't know. I might stop at the Maid-Rite for dinner. I remember I had a big break last year in between bowling, so I went across the street because it's right next to Maple.
Yeah.
And I went and had a Maid-Rite burger, but they are very, very good.
Wriggles is very quietly sneaking in there. He might be able to shoot 250 this game. It's not going to be enough, but he's making that new Storm Lucid look pretty good.
There's a lot of hype going. Yeah, there's a lot of hype around that one. I'd like to see Robbie throw it. I do want to see Robbie throw it sometime.
Clayton Moore over on lanes 31 and 32.
He's got big.
He's got 270 possible. He's 220 pace right now.
And he was 14 over after 6, I believe. So it depends on what he did last game, but
We have standings after game number 7,
all
just
right.
to let you guys know. Right now, 32nd place is 10 over.
all right. What's leading? Who's leading?
190 over by Matt
Oh, so
Smith.
that's a
That
guy
must have been who shot 300.
yeah,
They
he
told
did.
me Matt Thompson.
So then we got
Dwayne Kiltz, Ben Truig, Troy Fuller,
Yeah.
Mike Peters, Shannon Buchan.
Scotty Woolwind. And scores are definitely higher than, I think, second place last year after both squads was like 130. And we definitely are seeing higher scores here.
So they're going to take 1/4 of the field. So,
I thought it was a third
oh, maybe it is. You're right.
because it was originally 64 on 192. So
Yep, you're right. A third. So 30.
just roughly 30th is going to probably be your 30, 31.
30th right now is plus 12 with a game to go.
So that 20 over number is going to be sweating it.
Yes.
You know, if you're even in the 20s, you know,
And Tommy Hess with this conversion is 190.
if he spare strikes for 194, I believe he's going to. Is he at plus 28, Mike?
36 plus 36.
Plus 36. So he's going to lose 6 with the strike, so he'll be at plus 30.
That's close.
Looks like it, you know, doing the numbers, it's in, but, you know, he'll be sweating it out through B squad.
Some other names that are through Game 7, Luthold, Cassandra, plus 49. Mark Lineberry, plus 67. Quentin Bolin, plus 68. Ricky Beck, plus 79. Joel Engelkeys, plus 88. Matt Wagon, plus 96. Kloss is at 100. Woolwind, 111. Buchan, 123, and so on.
Where is Clayton Moore?
Plus 30.
24th at 36.
Plus 36. He's got 270 going.
Hey, he'd make a big jump here.
So he's going to be in. Now he just needs to position himself up the ladder.
Yep.
Go ahead and bring his pair over.
Oh boy, that hurts.
Double whammy right there for us.
He was actually my doubles partner in 2011 when I shot 820 at the National.
Jeff Regal's showing off for the cameras.
Yeah, if we had him on a featured pair every game, he'd probably be leading the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
It would be.
Yeah. And then it'd be the greatest pattern he ever bowled on.
I love this pattern, he'd say.
This is the best pattern I've ever bowled on.
All right, so Reg's finishing up. He's in the 230s already. This one, or no, he's in the 240s.
Yeah, he's 240 already.
So this one put him in the 250s.
I went bowling, shot a 250, and now I'm here with the scores to show. Vanilla Ice.
All right, so Riggs, he might snag a high game pot with that 250 here.
Yeah. Yeah, because Clayton failed to convert the 479, so he's only got 240 left.
Riggles will take it over to the craps table and turn it into like 1,500, post a picture on Facebook and be like, I just won the tournament.
Yep, that's Riggs.
Is he going to come sit in the booth with you next squad?
For a while, yeah. He's got Wisconsin football to watch, too.
Well, he said last week after they lost, nobody cares about the Badgers. Everybody cares about the Packers. That's it.
Well, they lost the first week, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did not use that ball until this game.
Riggs has not thrown that ball all day. It's the hashtag Storm Lucid.
Promise it was there all day, Jeff.
we'll watch 31 and 2 finish up here, and then we'll be back at roughly around 2:30 to bring you B Squad, where you'll see my two counterparts here sitting in the booth with me today take to the lanes, and all of us will be able to take their analysis and see if they practice what they preach.
Clayton Moore back on it after the open frame in the 8th.
He's throwing the Motive Thrash.
I gotta tell you, I got kind of a little person I'm rooting for
Who do you got?
to
Mike?
win the whole tournament.
All right.
No offense to you guys.
No, that's all right.
Don't take any offense to this. But I'm rooting for Cassie.
All right.
I'd like to see her win the tournament.
I think it'd be a good thing for bowling. You know, just like when Kelly won the TOC or something.
She's tough.
She's tough.
She
She
is
can bowl.
tough. Where's she at? What was her score?
Cassie, she was plus 49.
She got 190 if she strikes here.
Yeah.
That's a big shot here.
Actually, 201. She didn't have 201. She did it.
Yeah, no, 192, I believe, Robbie.
Yes, delivered. Thank you.
Mike, can I borrow your pen?
Who's in the booth with me for B? I'll have Jeff Riggles in, and whoever else I can find here in the building will be in the booth with me for B Squad. It's going to be tough to top these two guys, no doubt about it. And tomorrow morning, hopefully I'll have some folks that I'll be able to have in the booth when we get to the cashers round. I want to thank all 50 to 60 viewers we've had this morning. It's been nice and pleasurable to have all of you in here. Obviously, Saturday's coverage is more of your run of the road, talk about interesting topics, brainstorm, get going on things that are happening with inside bowling and things that are happening in the bowling world in general. We were talking with Rob Gotell today, and he bowled his very first regional and won the event. And Matt McNiel in the booth with us won our 11th Frame.com Open. That was at Cherry Lanes at the Diamond Joe Casino just about a month ago. And here we are seeing a lot of the same folks today, and a lot of great group of bowlers and nice friendly faces. And we're happy to be here to bring you the Fusion Realtors Open here in 2012.
I think it's 650.
It's 229 if he can convert it here for more on lane 32. Know your starting lane, Steve?
Oh, Saturday doesn't going that way.
Who's on your pair?
All right, just about getting finished up here. And Clayton shot 229, so that'll get him to 68. Or no, he is 36, so he'll be at 65.
Yep.
Thank you, Salisbury, for the positive comment in the chat. Appreciate that.
Oh yes, thank you.
With all of our on-screen graphics and ticker and all this stuff going on now, we a lot of times on Saturday we just get away from calling out the scores and that, and we kind of expect you to do the work there. I mean, we make it very easy for you to see your favorite bowler scrolling across the screen. We make it very easy for you to see things that are going on in the center, and we kind of just tell the story and through what's on the screen for you, and hopefully everyone enjoys that, likes to see those names coming across, and we'll continue to have all the tabs down below will appear after A and B squad and combined squads and all that good stuff. So should get a prize list up there for you too. The beautiful thing is when we come into an event like this is talking with new tournament staff members that we've never worked with before and setting up their computers and teaching them how to upload everything online. And it's just amazing to see what great tournament directors and staffs that they have throughout the Midwest.
Absolutely. They've done a great job with the scores. I know we had a few pairs get a little behind today, and that caused some delays in the scores, but even the last couple pairs picked it up, and they had Game 7 up and going by the 5th frame of some of the fast pairs. So.
And they had 2 lane machines, oiled these lanes. It's a 50-lane center, and I haven't had one guy walk up, and I haven't overheard anything about, oh, man, boy, if you had this many games down there, you were in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's great, because you'd hear about it by now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be our last shot of A squad.
This will be.
All right.
And then I'm going to bug out of the booth and go grab some lunch with Mr. McNiel and bring you B squad with my other guests. Guys, it's been great having you in here. I really appreciate both of you sitting in. And Rob, you made your debut today.
No problem. Thanks a lot. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself.
And Matt just kind of sharpened the saw a little bit from the last event.
No, it's always a pleasure, and love being up here in the booth. And it was great talking with Robbie, and we got a lot of good banter.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good banter out there.
And it's all in good fun and good faith, and we want everything in bowling to succeed. It's just a topic of conversation, and we're not trying to be the cancer of bowling. We're just trying to be the Advil for the headaches.
Rob's going to get out of here for a breath of fresh air, and me and Mike are going to go get some lunch. So, Mike, do you want to take us out? If not, can I try taking us out?
Yeah, if you want, I'm just going to go to music. But, yeah, go ahead. Take us out.
All right.
What do you want to say here?
All right. For Inside Bowling, this is Matt McNiel alongside Rob Gotchall and the Mike Flanagan, broadcasting from Waterloo, Iowa at Cadillac Lanes at the 2012 Fusion Realtors Open. We will see you soon around 2:30. Make sure to tune back.